Andy.
Hey, Stephen Brooks.
How you doing?
After 10 years, I just did it right. Stephen Brooks.
I mean, yes, you did, and I kind of feel
Stephen Brooks?
it is.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So Stephen.
Rob UFO?
Ufalo.
Right. It's the L is on the other side. So I have this the topics that we are going to talk about, but really what we're talking about today is 10 years. We've been doing this podcast for 10 years. We've known each other for longer.
Yeah, since 2011, I believe.
This is 2011?
Yeah.
I always forget. It was we met each other at a Christmas party.
Yeah.
Or like it was around Christmas time. It was the holiday party. Was that December 2011 or was that January 2011?
Oh.
You know what I mean? Because I think at that time they were doing it before.
Because they were always delayed. It was the
they were doing it the ASIFA
holiday parties, and it just got later and later.
So that means we've known each other for 12 and a half years. Also, on the show, we have, and for the listeners at home, this isn't really going to mean anything, but I have, of course, our Rubber Onion tumbler glasses, because since it is our 10-year anniversary, we are going to be drinking a lot of booze. And behind us, Rob has made a nice little display from all the stuff in my apartment. He didn't bring it. I didn't even think to ask you to bring over anything. Just stuff in my apartment. Stuff for the years. Xenia is on the chat right now, so you can see her crocheted little maquette characters. This is the 3D guys here, the 3D printed.
I'm gonna paint mine.
Nice.
Your arm, the one that I have, your arm broke off, unfortunately.
Oh, okay.
I texted you that day. I was like,
and we have a lot of booze. Oh, yes. Lamont in the chat. I said I'm not going to respond very much to the chat, but I have to say this. He said, are those the same glasses? They are, because you can tell it still has the chip in it from day one. Day one, the first time that we got these glasses.
They have nice things.
I think you picked it up and you hit the bottom of my glass. I think you were going to go cheers and you came too close and you did that. I think that was the first time before you even took a sip out of this glass. And it has been that way ever since. It's totally smooth. And
it gives a character, though, I think.
It's just such a funny thing because it's exactly that's such a great way to introduce our relationship in the last 10 years. Because we have identical glasses and yours just has this like chip down the side, and I have taken care of mine. So we have a few things here. We have Wormwood Rye from Standard. We have Sazerac Rye. We have Maker's Mark Bourbon. And, of course, in honor of Elizabeth Honer, girl writer, we have Wathans. Wathan Single Barrel, which is the bourbon that she brought me for my birthday in, I think it was 2017. When my book came out. I had the book signing, birthday, meetup, extravaganza.
That was the star of
a lot of
our live couch shows.
It was. Yeah, it really was. So anyway, we're going to kind of go through the last 10 years. A lot of it is going to be talking about the trajectory of what we went through, for to do the podcast, to get the podcast out there, all the different ways that things kind of came up. If you have in the chat, if you have anything that you would like to ask and it comes up and I happen to see it, by all means throw it up there, because I do see the chat, but I'm not going to be mostly responding to it. We'll just be talking.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you want to say in the intro before we got
all right, 10 years
into the show?
Just to see how much I improved on communication.
Yes.
And improving, because you need to do a lot of that while you're talking on a podcast for 10 years.
I've certainly learned how to vamp.
by now, you should be good at doing those things, because 10 years you're talking on a microphone on a podcast.
Yeah, that's true.
Saying things should be and having something meaningful to say and not wasting anyone's time is something that I think is important to do if you are talking into a microphone.
You're doing great so far.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So enjoy the show.
You heard it there. Enjoy the show. So let me say welcome to episode 295 of the Rubber Onion Animation Podcast, and we're calling this one the 10-year anniversary. Something. Are we calling it special or retro? I was gonna say retrospective, but we already did the Beavis and Butthead retrospective, and it's I mean, I guess it could be the Beavis and Butthead retrospective. It could be the Robbie and Steven retrospective.
How about we say looking back?
Looking back. We could turn it around.
Us.
Oh, but I already did the featured image with a pencil up in the 10.
Yeah. It's a good one.
I mean, I like it. Well, it's a simple one, but I like the idea.
10, something with 10. Well, we'll think about it.
And you know how the 10 sometimes has that, the one has the serif, has the little line on it. Yeah. I could flip it the other way, kind of like 7. I could do 10 and kind of flip it.
You know the irony of this?
Make it look like 7.
We're literally shaped like the number 10. There we go. There's the zinger we need. Hit the music.
I'm Don Bluth.
I'm Harry Partridge.
Hi, I'm Tom Moore, teenage superhero.
My name's Adam Phillips.
This is Robert Valley.
And I'm in no way doing a forced plug. No, sorry.
Definitely go for that.
And you're listening to...
Yeah, okay, there we go. Yeah, more like we record the podcast. It's a little closer than what we normally record the podcast.
Too close for comfort, I say.
You usually sit over there, and I usually sit over here. We are a complete
and we have a fort.
It is nice though because if I need to cut out something, I don't hear myself in your microphone.
Yeah,
and you don't hear. You can't hear you in my microphone because we're sitting apart, even though we're in the same room.
Yeah,
a little technical things, little intro there. We are going to talk about some technical stuff. We're going to have to talk about technical things,
like the good
errors.
Technical things,
good, good and bad. Like the ways, the way that we set it up, the all the various ways that we recorded. Like in the Audacity. The Audacity days.
Yeah.
Google Hangouts. Remember?
For a good long time, I had just the worst mic. Or times where I thought I was talking on the mic, but I was talking onto the computer
multiple times. We'll definitely talk about that.
Robbing a tin can.
So to start, we are going to be drinking Wathen's Single Barrel, as I mentioned, in honor of Elizabeth Honer, who gave me this on my birthday one year, and it has become a staple for the podcast. And we are going to be drinking it out of these rubber onion tumbler glasses that Lamont Wayne got us for something, which I forget now. Wait.
I'm like a duck.
Wait. Oh, no. Oh. Wait. Oh, God. That's fine. Let's do a little pour.
I don't think I had this drink since our last recording like this.
That's probably right.
Just going to get a smell.
I mean, I do kind of save the Wathens for when we do shows and when we have events.
Remember one time we had cookies and bourbon, and we just looked at each other like.
I think the cookies and bourbon was for my birthday. I think Brian. I think Brain of Brian brought the cookies because he worked at the bakery, and then Elizabeth brought the.
Also, my favorite country song.
Cookies and bourbon.
It's a Christmas country song.
Oh, Christmas cookies and bourbon.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so let's say this here. I'm gonna go back to my little list. Okay, so we are doing a couple topics here. The topics we're doing: how do we start? Why? What type of show? That kind of stuff, and then we'll get into some of our favorite titles and things like that.
Yeah.
If you're listening after the fact and you want to post in the comment section or something, post your favorite episode titles. If you're in the chat, do the same. That'd be fun. But for right now, cheers. 10 years.
Cheers, 10 years. Oh, that's a good title.
Cheers 10 years. Cheers to 10 years. Yeah, that's good. Okay, so I've said this story. I know it is. It's going to go, Wathens goes down smooth. What was I gonna say? Oh, yeah. How do we start? We say this a lot, by the way. Every time that we do an episode of the how are we gonna start? How do you want to start the episode?
Oh, I think about how we started.
Yes, I am. I'm saying how do we start, but we say that a lot at the beginning of every episode. We're going like, how do we start?
I do remember. I think we were eating pizza one time, and you were pizza.
Pizza.
Oh,
Drink.
There's a little. That was a little Easter egg. I'm already spilling it on myself. We were eating pizza, and you were like, "I want to do like a show, have animators talking." And I think you wanted multiple people.
I remember we were doing it was like the Biggest Slice. It was that place that was by my old place. Yeah.
And you went to like I think it was going to originally be like a round table thing.
Yes.
You have like kind of a rotation of guests.
I wanted an animator round table.
Yeah.
It was going to be like, like, you know, those Hollywood Reporter, like director roundtables, you know, animation director roundtables.
Oh yeah,
those things where the kind of like that, and a little like, remember that show Dinner for Five? It was the Jon Favreau one that was around? Yeah.
I'm glad you're thinking of those shows, because I was thinking of Comics Unleashed, where it was like at 2 a.m. and the guy would just point at the comedian and go, "Hey, do your joke." And the guy would be like, okay, so I was on a train the other day and...
I don't know that. I don't think I've ever seen it. But so that was the idea, do a round table. And I had a table that we were going to set up. Oh, it was the table that we did. Oh, God, what did we watch? It was the Paranorman, I think. It was the Paranorman.
Oh, okay.
And remember, we did the
stop motion.
The Panic... Party disco, whatever, I forget what we called it.
Yeah. I think I just brought all my toys. You brought some of your toys.
And then we did a little animated. We animated
toys.
We did an animated short, a stop motion very micro short, while we reviewed Paranorman. So we did these videos after I was doing the Rubber Earring viewing party, probably 2010 maybe. On Twitter, like hashtag Rubber Earring Viewing Party, ROVP, and people would just kind of jump into those. I did like Secret of Nim and Land Before Time. So there's 2 Don Bluth ones, but I did some other movies, and I just kind of like caught on Twitter, people joining in and watching it with me at the same time. There's like a text version of it, and it kind of came up with the idea to do a stream version of it. And I think that's why I said, because I did Rubber Earring Viewing Party, I think I did 9 of those on Twitter, and then I started the videos on 10. So I call it Rubber Earring Viewing Party 10.
Oh, so it was audio, and you were telling everyone?
No, it wasn't audio. It wasn't audio. It was just text. I just tweeted out, I'm going to be watching this, and live tweeting like I was at an event, because I saw people doing this for like sports and stuff, and I was like, that's stupid. I'm going to do this about movies that like basically kind of
in the hoop now,
like a pop-up video on Twitter, like a, you know what I'm saying, like kind of I thought that'd be kind of fun. So I did these viewing parties, and I put it on Twitter, and then I started doing these videos, these live stream versions, and you were on 2 of them, I think, 2 of them, and that started, I think, our...
Was the first one Nightmare Before Christmas?
Oh, wait, was it? No. Did we?
What was the one we watched? I know it was me and Carice.
I thought it might have been like
as zombies.
Oh no, that was the second one. I thought. It maybe you're right. I thought it was Spirited Away. I thought we did.
Oh yeah.
And then you might be right. Maybe I already did Nightmare Before Christmas viewing party. I didn't think I did. Can't remember what the next one was. But anyway, we did a few of those. I had other people come up. I had Tim Siginesen, who
we did the Turtles thing with him, right?
No, I did the Turtles, or did I do the Turtles one with him? God, now I do. I thought I did Turtles Forever with John Gorga, who had the comic book shop.
It might have been.
And then I did Max and Mary with Spence, and then Yeah, I did a few of them, and then we kind of pivoted that to doing the reviews, the video reviews on YouTube. Yeah. And you could still see those. I think those were all in 2010, right? Or no, 2011, 2012, something like that. And we were doing all sorts of things like that we were going to. We had all these ideas about ways that we could do it different, and each of those reviews was different. So Brave we did in the park because we wanted to be in the woods.
I went to the costume shop and got an orange. I couldn't find a long orange redhead wig.
Yeah.
So I just got this big orange afro, and that was it.
Didn't help.
Didn't we say we were gonna give that away?
Yeah,
in one of the live shows. It was like no one wanted a sweaty.
I don't remember that. Leg. This is part of the problem of the 10 years. Is like there's a lot of things I remember. There's some things that one kind of goes by. But we did that, and then also the green screen. Because we talked about that recently. We did the oh my goodness. So we just for people who are listening, I'll just leave.
We
this
have
in.
a fan of the.
I got a puppy, and the puppy just came in for a walk, and she heard that we are having fun and drinking and talking without her, and she wanted to bark and be a part of it.
Maker's bark.
I was gonna bring that up later. You ruined. Why would you bring? I had a whole bit about this. You know what? I'm gonna leave it in. We're gonna drink. We're gonna forget about it, and then we're gonna do the bit anyway.
Let's drink till we forget.
That's the other. So this is even before the podcast. So we met. We went to have wings. I lectured you on what a buffalo wing is because we got buffalo wings and they were breaded, and it fills me with rage. So I vented about that, and then I think I didn't even know your stuff. I looked it up afterward. I think
I posted about. I did a Wile E. Coyote 127 hours. So I just posted a picture of it.
Yeah.
And then you were like, please tell me you're actually doing this. And I said, yes, I am. And that was like my first, not really kind of parody kind of thing.
It's a big one because that was on Cartoon Brew. You sent it to Jerry, and he when Jerry was still on it, and he put it up. Jerry Beck. But anyway, so then I saw your stuff, and I was like, this kid's good. He's funny. Mm-hmm. We'll start doing some other stuff. And so
charming, handsome. Mm-hmm.
He's the 0 to my 1. Together we are binary. Did we make that joke on the intro, right? I don't know if people on the podcast. I just want to make sure they're going to understand it. Boy, this is rambling. So we did that, and then we did the reviews, the YouTube reviews. And we did some other stuff. We did a couple like little animated short things that we were going to do. And the big thing that I've mentioned before about the podcast was I needed something that wasn't going to be as big of a production, video production, stuff like that, because I was writing the book. I got the opportunity to write the book. And so, in 2013, I'm going through all that. And you just got your foot surgery, second foot surgery, or... Was it your first?
Well, second in life.
Second, okay. First as an adult. Yeah. So you got your foot surgery, and you were bedridden. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, okay, well, let's do this. I had the idea to do the round table. And I had the idea that also we were going to go to a bar, and I was going to put up I was going to put down a recorder, and we were all going to sit at the bar, and we were going to talk. And we actually ended up doing that on a couple episodes of the podcast. For movie reviews that someone in the chat might be a part of.
The Teen Titans.
Teen Titans Go to the Movies. Yeah,
I think it was with Emmett and
Andrew. Yep.
Yeah.
And then we did the ponies one with Pilar was there.
Pilar. I think Andrew
Brian
was there too. Yeah, Brian. And
Wayman?
Others. Was he?
I don't know.
Yeah,
that's what I'm asking.
If you were there in the chat,
we did a few things like that. I can't remember exactly what movie people were at, but so I do know we did the review of that one in the car because I think it was like cold and it like
Oh yeah.
yeah, it was, yeah. We needed a place to do it.
And it kept fogging up.
It kept fogging up. It was a very interesting time. So anyway, we'll kind of get to that stuff, but we eventually ended up doing things like that. But it was going to be like a round table, and you were home, and you were in Brooklyn, I was in Manhattan, and then I had lived in Illinois for a while, and I knew this guy Pat who worked at a coffee shop, and I knew that he like, you know, I forget what he said. He said he like majored in communications, something like. He was like a pop culture guy, whatever, and he was always like making jokes and posting things and Twitter. And I was like, okay, maybe he would be a good person to bring on. I just thought we needed more than two people, more than just you and me.
Yeah.
Because we already did it with the videos, and I wanted this one to be kind of like a round table, so more voices. And so I was like, okay, I'm a professional animator. That is how I make my living. You were still doing animation as a side hobby because you were working at Brooklyn Borough Hall.
Yeah.
Was that Marty Markowitz at the time, or was that?
It was Marty Markowitz,
yeah,
Brooklyn Borough president.
Yeah, forever. So yeah, it was back then, and then so we brought him, and then he would be the kind of outsider. He would be the person that wasn't animation. So you have professional animator, indie animator. And then person who likes animation, although that didn't actually end up being entirely true. He did seem to say, but I think it was mostly like comic book stuff.
The first person I ever heard to say he hates Charlie Brown. I was like, what?
I mean, we've talked about this before. I'm not the biggest fan of the Charlie Brown tone aesthetic, but like. Come on, it's a classic. You watch it, and I like some of them. I like the Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown.
It's funny the first episodes, knowing it was going to be you and Pat, because I think that in my mind it said, okay, good, they're going to talk about the stuff, and I'm gonna once in a while be the guy who just makes little jokes once in a while, which I still do to some degree, but I tend to talk a little more about in detail and as much detail as I can in certain subjects. But I was just like, good, because they can name directors, they could name they could really dissect things,
right?
And I could just be. I could act a fool.
You also said that you had a little insecure hurt in you when you were like, wait, if Pat's the funny guy, who am I?
Oh yeah. Because I when somebody goes, you're gonna love this person, they're hilarious. You guys are gonna get along.
I definitely did not say that, but I did. But I did say that I thought that he could be like a moment of levity in the show kind of thing.
But I also like went into like listening to a lot of like kind of shock jockey stuff.
Right.
So I think I kind of try to do a Guns A-Blazing kind of in your face kind of attitude, and I was just like, oh yeah, maybe this isn't the. Thankfully, that changed. I mean, I'm not saying everything I said in the past episodes is necessarily holds up to today's standards.
I haven't listened to them. Like I said, I'm probably going to audit them at some point, just to go back and go like, oh God. I will say I got the it was tough sometimes corralling those episodes because. Yeah, it was like the both of you wanted to just like make dick jokes.
Yeah.
And just like that was his whole thing. Was like every episode he had to make a dick joke. Like he had to find a way to do it. And you just like fed off of that fear. And I was like, I was like, yeah, I was like laughing along, and I was trying to play along, but also try to like have the show. And I was not adept at it yet. I wasn't adept at conversationally, yes, but I think I did a little. I was a little backseat in some of those episodes on some of the stuff, and just kind of like let things go. Sometimes I would just like move it on. That's where the next story or whatever. I forget what was I saying.
Yeah. I think it was that.
Was it next story?
And our next story.
Yeah.
whenever things got awkward or just kind of like
Yeah. That was the reason I did it, is because I just felt like
or something weirdly inappropriate was
I just
said.
felt like these guys are just like, I can't go down this road. Like I want to yes and as much as possible.
Yeah.
And even at the time I was like, I don't know that I could do this. I don't know that I want to have all this recorded.
Yeah.
And then then I was like, all right, I can't. I have to stop. I have to stop this and like, move this on. But yeah, then those early episodes. So the type of show that I wanted was, I wanted something that was like this. There was, I mean, not two friends talking about the last 10 years that. It's like talking about inside jokes that I hopefully people will find interesting because they kind of like connect the dots and they know it if they've been along with it.
Shareholders.
The shareholders. Derail.
If you know, you know.
What was I gonna say?
You wanted something similar. You wanted something like
yes,
this.
I wanted something like this where we're drinking, and we're talking, and this episode will be explicit. We'll swear in this episode. We haven't done it yet. I think because the last few, I have a rule that if the thing that we're talking about or reviewing is PG or PG-13, we should keep it at that, unless it's something that I definitely just don't care if people who like it want to listen to it. Like if it's a kids thing, I don't want some kids stumbling upon it and just like. And not that I listen to a bunch of stuff. I just don't think that's not my decision to make, and it's just kind of out there, and it just makes more sense to just go like, listen, you're talking about a PG thing, just keep it PG. You talk about an R-rated thing, you can say R-rated, whatever. It just
Paw Patrol
made
review.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
enjoyed this movie. All
And
right?
I think it was just like one of the. I can't even remember one of the episodes. I was listening back to it. And I was like, why are we coming at this so hard? Like, we're just making all these hard jokes. And I was like, all right, let's pull this back. And I started hearing about more and more listeners who had kids and stuff that were, and I label them explicit and clean. I mean, I do that. But I think that sometimes, people might just want to have some episodes that are clean that they can listen to in mixed company.
Yeah.
So they don't always have to have their headphones on or whatever. I don't know. So
I've always been a fan of kind of working around that, like censoring yourself to a degree, like
right.
Having
I
that
don't
is always
think
kind of
that
fun.
we needed to do it always, and I think any show that wasn't specifically, we didn't do the full review episodes until kind of recently. Yeah. Most of the time we were just reviewing things, and that was in a show that was explicit. So like in the middle of a show, we're going to talk about DuckTales, we're going to swear. It's fine. It's not a it's not a thing that is on its own that needs to be, clean. But when we talk about like like a Paw Patrol movie or something like that, that would be whatever. But anyway, point was, I just felt like when animators hung out, there was two types of podcasts that existed at the time. There was the super clean, ultra professional, stuffy, like Disney kind of, talking, and talking about the craft is fine, but it just felt like it was more like a junket interview kind of thing.
Yeah.
Which just felt cold. And then there was the other side of it, which was just, it was shock jock kind of thing. It was just like, I don't know, Newgrounds animators or something that just wanted to be as gross and offensive and whatever as possible. And it didn't really matter the things that they were saying or talking about. And I felt like every time that we talked about stuff, every time that the animators actually talked about the industry or talked about a story or whatever, we talked about what it meant to us. We talked about like the industry as a whole. We talked about like, just anything and everything, but we swore like adults. We, sometimes we did, sometimes we didn't. And we would go off on tangents. We make jokes and it would kind of take us off into other things. I thought that was more interesting. Yeah. So that's the thing that I wanted. And so that's kind of where it all kind of started. That was the, so we did the why, the type of show. Okay. Yeah. And also I just kind of felt like comedy was a big part. I feel like a lot of animators, especially East Coast animators, especially animators in New York, I feel like have a like a comedy underpinning, maybe more than other places.
I think through a lot of episodes too, I talk about how like the stand-up world is kind of similar to the animation world. Oh, I do love the like before you're twisting it. It just sounds like you're like strangling a duck.
You like that?
Yeah.
Freak.
You know, we all have our own things.
Fucking duck. And we have a sassy goose episode. You remember because they're talking about the Untitled Goose Game. Cheers.
Ooh, on that subject, we could move on to comedy about animation.
That's what I was doing. Comedy about it. So I was just saying about like.
Oh yeah, you already
just,
started.
Just like making jokes and stuff like that. But the titles. What are some of your favorite titles? And you listed some of them off. I have. Here comes drunk Steven. Wait a second. It's just because I have a second one. Am I already getting drunk? Is this a thing that's happening?
No,
not yet.
Oh, no, not yet. Trust me.
By the way, Lamont, I have a bit more mass and a bit more years under my belt. I think I can. So that's. Oh, can I also say this? So I think I mentioned this before. I should probably say this. I did not drink. Not before the podcast, but I really didn't drink. Like, I didn't drink until I was 21. I had on my birthday, I had a glass of wine, and I was like, yep, that tastes like nail polish and fruit juice. That's exactly what I thought it was. It was probably like some cheap ass wine that sucked. But and then I didn't really drink. I didn't do bars. I didn't have like a college scene. I went to college, but I didn't like do that whole thing. And then I didn't really have like a partying side, and I didn't really drink. I didn't actually start drinking, like actually, sipping stuff or like going out and be like, oh yeah, that'd be good, and drinking with friends until like 2015, like somewhere around 2015, 2016. And by that point, I'm already, 35? I don't know. What am I? What was I? 30? 2015. No, I would have been 32.
Yeah.
32, 33. Something like that.
I thought you were going to say I didn't start drinking until I met you.
So the thing is, like when we were living together,
yeah.
And I'm not going to get into the whole thing. Some people know, but like I was going through some stuff in 2016. I mean, everyone was going through some stuff in 2016, but 2016.
What happened that year?
Yeah, exactly. We were living together, and there was, that's when I was like, all right. Now I'm drinking. Now let's drink. So yes, it did lead to some episodes.
It wasn't just any drink.
It was Four Loko. It was the Four Loko episodes. This was
bottom shelf.
It was the Four Loko episodes. Yeah. So really, I've only really been steadily. That sounds like a problem. For like 7 years, I think.
Yeah,
7 years now, I think I've been drinking. But I
can I just say that one moment we were supposed to meet everyone at a show afterwards.
Oh God!
But I had to. Steven was not feeling well, alcohol, and this shows we were two bachelors living in a house in an apartment because I wrote the address to the place I had to go to on a Hot Pocket box.
Yes, that's
and I
true.
put it in my pocket. I was like, Where do I gotta go?
It was Animation Nights New York, I think. You were meeting Brian and Waymond there?
Oh,
is that right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I opened up the things as well. You got them? Okay, the first one that I listed here was episode 3, Lego My Deke. Remember yes. Deke, D-I-C?
Mm-hmm.
And one of my first early favorite titles of episodes was Andy Sir Kiss My Ass. That was a good one, right?
Yeah.
And
the thumbnail for that is great as well.
Yes, and I had a lot of fun with the thumbnails. The website has gone through I think like 4 major renovations in the last like 10 years. We had a forum. I was happy about the forum, but I guess we'll get to that. Do you want to read out any of these, or should I read out the ones that I put?
Yeah, I'll put some.
Okay, I did 44. Purse on Vacation. Do you remember why we named it that?
It was personification.
Personification. Yeah.
I think I couldn't pronounce it.
Yeah, I liked Purse on Vacation.
Yeah. So I'm going to start off light here. You're a Shrek Harry.
You're a Shrek Harry?
Let's see. Oh, The Secret of Nine Inch Nails.
Oh, 9 Inch Nails. Yeah.
AC Douchey Pumps.
What was that
Am I
one for?
pronouncing it?
Why was that? Why was? Yeah, yes, and the D and the C is Kevin. But why? Why did we
No idea.
AC douchey pumps? What? Why douche pumps?
Who knows? Stacking books.
Stacking books. Yep, stacking books. I have that one.
There's Mustache Ride.
I have episode 67, supercalifragilisticexpialidocious fasciitis. Was one of my favorite. Let me say that again. Supercalifragilistic necrotizing fasciitis.
Oh, Goofy stomach loving.
Old man strong fat.
I think this one kind of recent. Fire Daddy.
Oh yes,
Dumpling Boy.
Yeah, Fire Daddy. Yeah, and then Brexit through the gift shop was a great one. I think that was a really good one because we combined. It was Brexit, but it was also your exit through the gift shop, Snagglepuss.
Oh, I love that.
Oh yeah, we'll talk about that one.
A good one.
Ooh, the skinny one and the fat one.
Oh, yeah.
That was episode 144.
The Fanny Awards, which is now that I'm
you're
married to a
it.
British woman, that's a whole different title now. Fear farts.
I don't know why. How about fart train and taco trucks? Episode 164. A lot of farts in here. 175 Bourbon Dictionary. I liked that one a lot.
One, yeah.
I like that one a lot, and I actually kind of feel like someone should make a Bourbon Dictionary.
San Diego, Kanye West.
I had that one. Too. That one was episode 89. 58 was The Shareholders. 162 was Forum by Them. It was when we debuted the Forum. I like that one. How about this one? This is one of my favorite titles and also one of my favorite other things, which I'll bring up later. Episode 244, Aaron Darrenofsky.
Yeah.
I liked that one just because you could not. I think you said Aaron Darrenofsky, which I just thought was a really funny thing because it sounds like a real name. Yeah. And also, you went to the same school.
Yeah. He left much later.
I know,
but
much earlier.
Much earlier, yeah.
Much earlier. Yeah, he's older, yeah.
I remember telling him, I was like, you're gonna be somebody.
Yeah. 270, LaCroix Boy.
Oh, yeah.
247, Alan Who? And do you remember why
I think
it was called Alan Who?
I don't know if it's the first time I ever heard of Alan Tudyk.
Don't separate. See, that's the thing. You separate it. You do it as two syllables.
Alan
Tudyk. No, it's Alan Tudyk. And you heard it and heard it as like some mobster, Alan Tudyk.
They called him Alan Tudyk.
Like Alan who? What would you say his name should be?
Oh, Alan the Cockatoo.
Alan Cockatoo.
Oh, I think didn't he play a bird?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Then I got let's see. Oh, I like these two. So I'm gonna say they're four names. 95 episode. I think it's 95 and 96. HBO No You Didn't, and Nintendo No You Didn't.
Yeah.
I like that we named those back to back, and then we did it again in episode 226 and 227. John K. and Other News. And then the next episode, Apu and Other News. I don't really know why we did that, but
good controversial back-to-backs.
Yeah.
To lighten them.
Oh, how about 56, Sugar Pie Honey Butt?
I think I might have one more here.
Honey Butt.
You know that? Oh man, I hit the thing on the. Where is it at? Crap. All right, 1 second. I'm not drunk.
I got 53. Princess Kabuya.
That's a good one.
Yep.
All right, I think I lost it.
I don't know why we called episode 73 Pixel Dust. I don't remember why we did that. Do you?
No.
We
talking about like a.
We had one that was called. I think we called one of them Onion House, right? That's where the song came from.
Yes.
That was one of our solo episodes. That was the other thing about like I don't know if anyone. We were talking about this earlier. I don't know if anyone really realizes like Pat was only on like he was like missing like a fifth of the episodes.
Yeah.
In like,
You make cameos.
yeah, he was in it, but he wasn't so much like a co-host. So like, yeah, we went off to do other things, but it was hard to kind of, corral. It just, Vision didn't pan out to be the same thing. So then, did you have another one?
Oh, my last one is.
'Cause I was going to go on to the next.
It's a pube, Charlie Brown.
It's a pube, Charlie Brown.
Oh wait, there's one with what's the deal? Don't.
What's the deal, though? Yes. What's the deal? Don't. It was Dill, right? DILL, or was it DEAL? Was it what's the deal? Oh, what's the deal, dough?
Yeah. Oh, and Britney Spears.
Yes.
Right. Oh, and Illuminati. It's
Illuminati. Yeah.
It's a classic. It's a remembering.
So
classic.
that's the other thing is I think, and I wrote this down also. I kind of want to go back to my notes a little bit because, I think the episode 14, Joker Don't Play That. That I think was the first time that one of your things was in the featured image. It was Homie the Clown combined with Heath Ledger's Joker from The Dark Knight, sitting in the thing. And I think I put that together in the featured image. But we had in 2014, February 1st, 2014, we had our Annie's live stream that was not part of the podcast. It was just like its extra thing. So I was kind of listing off all the things that we did in the first year. The first year we had, and I'm talking like 365 days from the time that we started kind of thing. We had a Halloween episode. We had our first interview, which was Andrew Keiko, who actually, I interviewed him actually in my apartment. I think it was like a 20-minute interview or whatever. And then we didn't do another one for, I don't know, 80 episodes. Yeah. We had a birthday episode for me. We had the Annie's live stream. We had 2 other birthday episodes with you and Pat. We had traveling episodes because I was doing a lot of traveling at that time. We had live podcasts that we were sending, I think, through Ustream at the time. And that was, I remember one, it was episode 22, the TMNT trailer talk was that episode. We did, I did the radio show edit. That still is like one of my proudest moments and also one that fills me with a bit of anger.
Oh,
because
my favorite part of
I
that.
love the City of Monsters thing, but because of like what I did to the whole thing, but I was not happy with everything surrounding that.
My favorite part of that was when we were recording and I was doing, I guess, one of the monsters' voices. You would feed me my lines and I would repeat it and you go, this is how they train children.
Because you couldn't read it, and that was the thing, is that you couldn't read it and say it at the same time. So I needed to tell you so you could, because you're like, it would just be easier for me to just repeat the things that you're saying. And I was like, this is how they got the kid in Dennis the Menace to like do his lines.
I mean, Steven also put peanut butter in my gums in order to make my mouth move.
No, I like this. So I guess I could, you know what? I mean, I don't care. It's been years and years, and the kid hasn't even so much as said anything to me, so I'm fine with this. That was my attempt at like reaching out to him, be like, "Hey, man, be more part of the show. We'll do some of your stuff. We'll like put the thing on." And I edited that on my vacation. Like I put the whole thing together, and then Sharon's like, "Hey, listen to my podcast." I'm like, ooh, fuck
me.
You
and some guys. I will say his wrestling dying story, because that was a
Illuminati.
Yeah,
yes,
that was a weird
hysterical.
year. Wrestlers were just like dying, one after the other.
That was one of my favorite bits, and I have that on here. That one of my favorite moments was episode 24, Illuminati, because it was the first time that I had really sat down to like really edit something, and I think I had already done, radio plays and stuff like that for animation, but I think that's the first time that I really like fell in love with doing like a real audio editing for like a show kind of thing. And then that's why I did the City of Monsters stuff, because I was like, okay, I love radio shows. I used to listen to radio shows when I would like go to work.
Oh my Lord.
You didn't crack it again. It was the bottom of it. Yeah, I really like that one. Episode 26 was the first time we broke the 2-hour mark. We also had So we had the TMNT 2014 movie review, and then Rubber Onion fan art. You remember that? And that was the first year.
Yeah.
It's the first year. And because of that, we had episode 54, 55, and 56. We had Chris McEwen on, we had Andrew Keiko on, and Ronnie E. We had them on because they were the
Ron Tron.
Yeah.
And we did a little interview with them
For the Rubber Onion fan art.
Was that?
That was each episode. It was 1-1-1. Yeah.
And Chris McEwen, we put him in the first. Or was it the first animation?
No,
we did?
it was him and Ronnie.
Ronnie was in the Superman one.
Oh, I thought Chris McEwen and Ronnie were in the Superman.
Oh yeah, we put both of
Yeah,
them.
we put both of them.
But Chris McEwen was in the Turtle one.
He was also in the Turtle one. Yeah, he was the delivery. He was the pizza delivery boy.
I remember you made that.
We got to talk about the podcast animations at some
that
point too.
sewer lid flip. Looked 3D.
Yeah, it was
You
great.
did it I was just like, how does he?
Everyone did think that it was
sorcery.
3D. Okay, so yeah, we got all this, and the first rapid fire episode, I guess, is episode 55, Hasbrony.
Yep.
And I don't know, I think I've mentioned this before, but what I started to do with the rapid fire segments on the blog posts, every time you guys tried to interview me, it got screwed up somehow. Oh, Lamont. Hey, that's right. But nothing is as bad as Dan Meth, which we'll talk about. That is I think the only real lost interview, completely lost interview. And we did it for a while.
You're like, oh, we'll do it again, and then we just
No, well, he was just so embarrassed. But yeah, we did the rapid fire, the exclamation points. I don't know if anyone realized this. I think I mentioned it on one of the shows, but I would put a bunch of exclamation points after rapid fire in the timestamps. Mm-hmm. And the amount of exclamation points correlated to the amount of stories that we covered in rapid fire.
Yeah.
And nobody caught on, and so I had to tell people at some point. But I put a lot of weird little thing, you put all your Easter eggs into the battles. Yeah. I put all my Easter eggs and things in the featured images and the and the timestamps and stuff. I put Easter eggs and fun little things in places where no one is ever going to look.
Telling stories.
So, we did oh man, episode 63. Remember when I was traveling and I was sick? I was coughing up a lung. Charlie Hebdo happened.
Yeah.
The episode This Is a Nightmare.
I still to this day think that I got to re-listen to it again, but I think one of my favorite episodes.
Yeah.
But because we were so miserable.
I know. Yeah, you say that.
Yeah. But it was very kind of unique experience. Grumpy, but it was hilarious too in a certain way.
Episode 76, Lindala Dollar Bills. I explained where Rubber Onion came from. Just a recap in case anyone doesn't know. Rubber Hose Animation, which virtually started in New York, and with most of our American animation, New York was a big place, and then it moved out west, and then onion skinning, which is a term is a term for traditional animation, but it is used most often in digital animation. So I kind of thought that was a way for me to put into a kind of a word old and new, traditional and kind of digital. Yeah. And to keep it New York, to keep it kind of local.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's where Rubber Onion came from. And let's see, I got episode 78. We said, what is a creative? That was the first real Hot Cocoa show. We had an actual Hot Cocoa show, which was one of the episodes that Pat wasn't on, and we had to fill. And I don't think we knew until that day. And we had all this stuff planned with him, and we're like, okay, well, I guess we'll just wing it, and we'll come up with something. And we just chatted.
Yeah.
We just came up with something completely different.
So was that the first time it was just me and you?
No.
Oh,
No,
okay.
I think it was I don't know, it was episode 5 or something. He wasn't. It was 21. Beefy Teenage Mutant Ninja Babies. And then 25 was the next one. 35 was the next one. Yeah, he was missing a lot in that first that time. So then then we did. I talked to CTN Animation Expo. Episode 82, Cans of Worms, where you say that Rob Pratt's animation is too bouncy.
Boy. Well, I think I was in such a mood that day for some reason. I think I was hungover, and it was, I forget which animation it was. I think it was his did he do like Flash Gordon?
It was the Flash Gordon one, yeah.
So my complaint at the time was when they talked like
very
this.
bouncy, yeah.
And of course, it looked amazing. His work is outstanding. It's beautiful to look at. But at the time, I was hungover, and I looked at it, and I was just like, "Why are they bouncing so much? Makes no sense. Why no one talks like this?" And
then he reached out, and said, "Hey, can I come on the show?" And we're like, "Okay, great." And then he came on and confronted you directly 3 episodes later.
Yeah.
Which
he loves a lot of my status updates, and I drew his car guide one time. He paid me.
He's great. He's a great guy. There was a lot of fun stuff in that first year, and so I guess the point that I'm trying to make there is that we're trying to find like what's the show, and when we did the Hot Cocoa show. And we did the Rob Pratt interview. The Rob Pratt interview was episode 85. Mm-hmm. And then we did the Exit 73 Studios interview. That was episode 90. And again, I don't want to keep railing on Pat. I just want to, we've never really talked, I guess, about it. But like, he wasn't on either one of those. He wasn't on the Hot Cocoa show. And like, these were things that I was like, this is kind of what I really like about this show. And honestly, I really just thought that maybe we needed another person for, to fill out a dynamic, to have like a better thing. And I think that we
originally, you said you wanted Pilar.
Yes, Pilar.
In the My Little Pony episode.
Yep.
Yes,
the movie review. Yeah.
Yeah. And
she couldn't do it because she was teaching.
And I did really like the concept of someone who's kind of outside of the.
So did I.
Animation.
I thought it was very smart of me.
It was very good, and and
it could work.
Yeah,
it could work. It just it wasn't the right fit, and I started to see like these. Oh, I really like this. So a lot of those things early on, they were just animation news. That's all it was. It was talking to, like 5-10 minute news stories. They were very short. It wasn't a lot of stuff, and then. Yeah, we were doing that, and then we did the interviews, and I was talking. So, yes, I see in the chat, Lamont say, "Oh boy, CTN," and it's funny because I haven't gone back to listen to I haven't watched any of the CTN stuff. I haven't listened to the episode. I haven't gone back to. It's just. There are times when I think there are, and this is where I kind of split off, and I know that we've talked a bit about like kids these days kind of thing. But there is something that I think is really important about what Gen Z is really, pushing right now, and that is don't compromise too much, And I think that is something that I was definitely I was guilty of early on because I had that hustle, I had that fire, whatever I could do to like get out there and keep the thing going, and also people pleaser kind of thing, and it just people take advantage of that. They can smell it on you. Yeah. It's like they can smell your enthusiasm, your eagerness, your whatever, and they just know that you're the type of person that I know exactly how to take advantage of. And I didn't know that. I just thought like, oh, you just no one's gonna want to kick a sweet little puppy face like this. But like, that's not the way it works. Yeah. They see it and they go, you, I know I can manipulate you. And that, so I haven't listened to any of that CTN stuff or anything like that.
the event that it is, it's just like to be kind of like associated with that.
It draws you in. It's dangles the keys.
We always talk about exposure being the thing, and there's a little part of us that goes, maybe I could use that exposure to benefit me.
When they say double-edged sword, that phrase means something. Like you say, oh, you know what? I'm just gonna get it. I'm just gonna use that exposure, and I'm not gonna get used. I'm going to use that for my own thing. It doesn't really work that way. Sometimes you can. Sometimes exposure is good, but it's really important. The X factor of that is the people that you're working with. Yeah. And I have to say, now that we're in our 10-year anniversary, one of the things that I really like about working with you with the we've done animated shorts, we've done work, we did freelance stuff, we did the video reviews, the rubber viewing parties before that, podcasts, all sorts of shit. You are just a genuine person. It's easy to work with you, aside from the fact that you show up late to everything. Yes. You're like, oh yeah, I'll be there at 5. And then he sends me a text, I'll be there at 5:30. I ordered my Uber. Uber says 5:52. I sent him a text message at 6:00. Yeah,
they never take the highway. I don't know why.
Looks like we're right down the road, and like
I'm still in the shower. Yeah.
Yeah, man, I got it.
I could see your
no, but like it's very important. More important than anything else, I think, is you have to have, like, you can't work with all your friends, but you can work with your friends that you have a good solid relationship with, a good solid foundation. And I think we have that, and we work well together, even if we can't like get together all the time. Actually, a lot of the reasons that we haven't done podcasts recently is because when we get together, we just go, we just want to hang out. Yeah. Let's just hang out and catch up, because I haven't talked to my friend Rob yet.
Yeah.
And then we'll talk to
why we had that
RobUFO.com or whatever.
Yeah. I think working on projects and stuff like that, especially when we were doing the animation stuff.
The freelance stuff
for like the podcast animation.
Podcast animations.
And then when we made the move from because originally I did the designs for us, and you said I made you and Pat look exactly the same.
Yes, you draw. Yes,
I think all white people look alike.
Yes, exactly. It's not a lie. They looked exactly the same.
Steven copy and paste and then put glasses on.
They looked exactly. It's Pat.
But my favorite moment is, I think we both kind of like, I'm like, oh, how about this? And we both kind of like have like good ideas to add on to things. I think, and
good ideas. Are you
good
my
ideas?
Dad?
Good ideas.
Good ideas.
While we're drinking our sodas.
Wait, we can finish the Wathans.
Oh,
all right.
Listen, I'm not gonna argue with that.
We got 3.
And then we moved on to, you wanted to make them, our characters look more of the rubber hose style.
Well, so let's get into that now, actually, because I wanted to say, we were talking about like kind of finding our way to stuff, and the episode 101 is where we started our new the new version of the podcast, which I consider it. I say, if anyone is like looking to start the podcast, just start at 101. Don't go back to the first, you can listen to the interviews, because there's some interviews that are in there that are good. Rob Pratt and Exit 73 was in there as well. Yeah. And there are some good episodes that are in there. Obviously, maybe I could do like a best of kind of thing, but I really feel like episode 101 to 113 is that to me is, that's what I wanted the show to be. That's what it is. If I could do that now, if we could find a way to record on a regular basis and we could edit, I might actually need some help. If anyone's listening and does audio editing, like you've heard on the show, listen to episode 101. If you do audio editing like that, hit me up. It would be a paid gig. If I can get something going like that, I would love to do more episodes in the vein of episode 101 to 113, because that run of 12 episodes was, I think, the greatest run that we've done.
Which is funny because that was my biggest kind of fear. Well, so after 100...
Well, because Pat wasn't on it after 100. 100 was his last episode. He came back for the Thanksgiving special that I had him come back. I was going to have him come back more and more, but like, but yes, you were worried because
because I got a little comfortable being the third mic and kind of just being like not too involved, and doing this was like, oh wow, I really got to kind of light a match under my ass and and kind of talk about different subjects and stuff.
I think it's fire. I mean, I guess just light a match, just a match. I mean, I'm not crazy. I'm not gonna put a whole fire under there. You could sit on a match and put it out.
I don't want to burn the
hairs off your ass.
And berries.
Twigs and berries. Is this your British wife that is like? Here's like twigs and berries.
Language is just changing now.
Yeah.
It was a lot. It was a kind of a thing. I think the most things I always kind of struggled with was the interviews.
Yeah.
Because something happened where I did, after doing the research on the person we're talking to, and doing like a deep dive on like interviews that they've had and stuff, and then whenever we saw them, something happened where it was like, oh no.
Oh, you mean when they were on?
Yeah. There was a.
Do you remember the first interview we did was Elliot Cowan, and I had to get up and go to the bathroom halfway through?
Oh yeah.
And I believe I have him recorded saying, "Boy, that Steven can talk."
Yeah.
I remember that thing, and I think I told him last time was that a lot of his answers were like one-word answers. Were like, I don't know. Like it was stuff like that. Like it was like interviewing Norm Macdonald. Can I just read off the string of episodes? Because I just want to read off this thing just to remind people. Okay, so this is starting at episode 101 and then going on through episode 101. There can be only 101, right? That was a big segment episode, start of the top fives, and then Elliot Cowan interview, copyright and what animators need to know about it, Freelance Horror Stories 2, Expose Yourself, Muck Putty interview, How to Be Productive When You're Lazy, the Thanksgiving Special 2015, Animals with Clothes, which was another segment episode that we also had, I think, another top 5 on that. That might have been the music video one. Doug Bressler interview, What to Do When Technology Lets You Down as an Artist. 12 gifts for animators, Christmas special.
Oh, yeah.
Top 10 of 2015.
Yeah.
That was episode 101 to 113. That was a great run, I thought.
I think we took a turn to like more of a semi like educational route. And instead of just kind of like, oh, this is the new thing that's coming out, let's shit all over it.
So we did that in the segment episodes. And then we had informative episodes that were they were the ones that we talked about, like technology, copyright, like here's things that you need to know. This is instructional, right? This is something that I think everyone should have in their toolkit. And I think that that's something that I really liked about doing that. And I did that. I think we talked about what is a creative in the first 100 episodes, which I really liked that episode because it was really kind of digging into the topic of like, when we say like, I'm a creative. I'm like not just a creative person, but I'm a creative. What does that mean? And that helps kind of define everything else that you're going to do, all the different paths that you're going to take. And I like the concept of that. So there's the Hot Cocoa episodes that are the Hot Cocoa shows where we have a topic and we just discuss it. We just kind of talk about it.
Yeah.
Then there are the informative episodes that are a little more structured than that they're not a free form kind of thing. There's the How You Doing episodes that are just kind of like this. There's like talking about, something. We've started doing review episodes, though that's not what we had at the time. We had the segment episodes, and the segment episodes were animation news of the week, trailer talk, top 5, Axe by Facts. Remember Axe by Facts? The audience questions. I mean, we had all those kind of fun things, and I love the variety show. Like, that's the stuff that I really, really loved. And I would love to get back to doing stuff like that. But that part, I think, was right there. That's the show. That's the one that I thought was the perfect. What was that, 2015?
I think it was, yeah. It might have been around that time.
Is it 2015?
I believe so.
It was just, that to me was kind of the perfect the perfect type of shows. Yes. So yeah, that was the end of 2015 going into 2016. So then we ended up living together in 2016, which I guess we can get to. We had Hot Cocoa Shows, interviews. Those were the variations. So let me scroll down now on our, oh my goodness. I have so many things open. What are some of your favorite segments? That's what we were going to talk about.
So
You're my co-host.
oh yeah.
What are some of your favorite segments?
I gotta say, rapid fire.
You were like rapid fire.
I love
rapid fire also. And I used to do it just by people giving their stories, but now I'm kind of thinking that, listen, I completely understand why audience participation has gone down recently. I understand, and I have numbers to back it up, and I know exactly why. We will talk about this.
Yeah.
After we get through our chronology, I guess. But I think we'll bring back rapid fire. Yeah. I'll just come up with all the stories.
I think one of my the joy of rapid fire is I think that's around the time of the podcast where I'm completely synced into the
yeah.
And I'm just like, that's when all the wheels fall off, and I'm just like, I can't speak anymore.
Well, you're better now.
Yeah.
But at the time, you could not speak for more than an hour.
Oh, no. Yeah. So when we do the rapid fire, there is this like burst of energy of like, you got to talk a certain amount. And I love the parts where we're just kind of like, we know nothing of the subject. And we just go, oh, yeah, that movie looks okay. Whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what?
Do rapid fire. Just
moving on completely. Stuff like that. And how you doing? I think that's when we have like, I think that's what's kind of really what I don't know. I
think the how you doing actually started because at the time we were doing an episode every week, and sometimes we were doing multiple episodes a week. Yeah. Like in 2016, we had more than 52 episodes. Mm-hmm. I think it was 2016. I think the how you doing sometimes is like a legitimate. We're on the. It's like a forced. Let's talk. Let's like hang out because we had other things that we were doing, and then we sat down to do the podcast, and we're like, well, what have you been up to?
What's fun about that is just I love the fact that some people probably go, oh, there's a review or something on that show, that animated series I watched.
Right.
Maybe let's hear what these guys have to say about it. And then it's just like an hour-long conversation about how my pants ripped, and I described it as the size of a shark's mouth. And we had to go, where were we going? We were going to the movies, I think.
Yes.
And I was at work.
Yes, we were. It was. Were we going to Nighthawk?
Oh, yeah. We were going to watch some movie. And I think I was in the elevator of my job, and I was changing my clothes in the elevator, and I did some kind of move where my pants just kind of ripped completely. And I think I don't know if I called you or texted you saying like, I gotta change my pants, man. You're like, oh no, it's just a little rip. I said, no. And I think I sent you a picture. And it was just like you could see it was just my boxers.
You could see your you could see your boxers. You could see your leg.
I had to
It
go
was
to my
so-
boss. My
it
boss
was so
in a
big.
meeting.
You could see his boxers, but then you could see down to your leg, like your actual bare leg.
Yeah.
It was big.
My boss was in a meeting, and I walked in there while she was talking to someone. I said, "I gotta go. My pants ripped." And she's like, "Oh my god, go home." And then I was calling family members. I was like, "Hey, Dad, you think you could pick me up?" He was just like, "No, I can't." So I'm trying to get a taxi with like my coat in front of my crotch, hoping.
This is exactly so. This is why you like this segment, is because you force people to listen to this because you understand. I put timestamps down.
Yeah.
One of the reasons that I liked SoundCloud was when I uploaded to SoundCloud, I could put timestamps down. You could click on it, and it would just take you there.
Mm-hmm.
But
Well, then
then
the amazing raps that are on there.
well, okay, yes, right. But then SoundCloud changed its thing, and now it can't. So I used to upload to Newgrounds. I uploaded there for, I don't know, 100 episodes or so. And then I uploaded to SoundCloud, but then SoundCloud was like, oh, we're going to delete everything now unless you pay I don't know, it was $50 a month or something. I was like, and I can't do that. It was it's too much. I can't do this and do that. Yeah. And I appreciate all the support from patrons, and it goes 100% back into the podcast. I do not make a profit on it. and SoundCloud was just something that I had to kind of do away with. But that's one of the things that I'm kind of hoping, if I get, I'll put some of my money toward getting an editor. Maybe, I've done enough. I think the 300 episodes, I think that's my hope, is that I can find an editor for 301 and beyond.
Yeah.
Because I've done all the editing for every single episode for 300 episodes. I think that's fine.
Oh, yeah.
I think I've done my part. I think I'm not too big,
I
for
edited
my
about
britches
4
or whatever.
episodes.
You helped. That doesn't mean you edited them. But you did. You did, and that was actually a huge help. You just don't do it anymore. But we're both working now, and I think we have to recalculate some of the stuff that we're doing. We'll talk about that. So yes, we talked for an hour for the first 100 episodes. We're not going to talk that long about the next ones, but I do want to say that I feel like the hundreds. 100, 101, all the way up. I think those up to, I don't know, it was 170. So I don't know. I'm just kind of pulling some words out. I think those were really, that's the heyday. That's my favorite stuff of the podcast. And also that's the stuff that we were really kind of just doing that. I started to get the job I got the job at OCP. The book had come out. We were doing the animation battles. There was a lot of stuff going on. We were living together. It was a really, really fun time. That was really good. And we just have to recalculate where we are in the podcast now, because we're just a new place. Segments, favorite. I like the top 5. I think the top 5 is really fun. It's hard for me to put it together because I also put it together with a with a blog post. I don't do that as much anymore. I would really like to get back to writing. I think that maybe not the blog post that I used to do, but I would kind of like to get back to writing. I like writing. And I feel like I do it so much. It's just doing it on a schedule that is kind of a hard thing to do. But the top 5 is really fun. The companion blog piece to go with it. I like Axe by Facts. I thought it was just really funny. There was one that we did that was audience question. I liked the bit of the audience question where it was a new thing every time. There was a carrier pigeon. There was a something that was written on the back of a turtle or something. We had all these different, you don't need to do that. You can just email question at Rubber. I liked that whole thing. It was so stupid.
Yeah.
It was really fun. I liked those. Yeah. Yeah, I think those were probably my favorite.
Yeah, I think
segments.
we do. Yeah, we have a lot of so a lot of times we do the intro after.
Almost always.
Yeah.
Yeah. Except
and
for
those are always kind of fun to see when it works, it's great. When it doesn't, it's just like, oh God, it's like.
Well, when it doesn't,
we break our heads trying.
When
to
it
find...
doesn't, it takes me another couple days to
Yeah.
get the podcast out because it's like because we're trying to find. We just keep talking until we come up with something funny.
Yeah.
Like and sometimes it's 5 minutes and I edit the thing down to 4 and it's perfect. And sometimes we have to talk for like 12, 15 minutes and I have to edit the stupid thing down to like 4 or 5 minutes. Because even I'm trying to find something and I'm like, how did we get there from here? And I have to keep in just the right amount of stuff so you can hear our meandering thing to get to wherever our joke was.
Yeah.
That actually makes the intro worth it. It's not the easiest. That's why I kind of think it's going to be hard to find an editor because it has to be someone who really like can edit for comedy. Mm-hmm. Can take something like that and say like what I might do is I might do some sort of initial rough cut and just like an assembly cut and just say like, listen, I like this stuff, cut out all these kind of things, I put markers down, whatever, because sometimes it's like we're looking things up or we're kind of going I'll put down a marker because I know I'm waiting for you to say something or I'm trying to think of a word. Yeah. No one needs to hear that. That's just boring. A lot like this live show that everyone's watching right now.
Yes.
I'm actually really curious if this live show is interesting at all because
listen,
we're really just talking to each other. Every once in a while we look at the camera. We're really just talking to each other about like, hey, remember the last 10 years? How crazy was that?
It's just us tooting our own horns.
Well, there were some things that I think also didn't work.
Yeah. Oh, so yeah.
Snagglepuss through the gift
Okay, all right. Here we go. So, yeah. So we had a whole...
Can I read some of them?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Go say the thing.
So
and
we had some ideas, and one of them was we finally find out who Banksy is.
Banksy,
and it was Snagglepuss. I don't know how we made those two connections.
It was exit through the gift shop, exit right through the gift shop, exit
right,
stage left even.
Oh yeah,
I think that was. I didn't make the connection. You made the connection.
I think I said his name was Pusky.
Pusky, yes, yeah. That's right. That's right. And
which is just how Popeye talks dirty.
Wait. Hold on. I want to say one thing, and I'm going to say this for the record.
Yeah.
For the record, I ruined that bit. I ruined it because you edited the whole thing yourself and edited a placeholder for me.
Yeah.
And I then put I recorded my part and put it in there. It did not work.
Yeah.
Something about it. It was the same timing. It was the same everything. Something about it didn't work. It just like it didn't feel right. Your version worked. The version with my voice with your Snagglepuss thing didn't work. I think it was just funny to listen to you talk to yourself, and we should have just uploaded that one. And I think I probably will at some point. I think we'll have like a redo. I'll find the original version. We'll just upload that one.
A redemption.
Yeah, exit stage right at the gift shop is. what the
I
thing was
also
called.
thought that I did a pretty great Snagglepuss, which I don't.
No, you do not.
Nope.
But see, that was what was funny about it is that I think that's the charm of it is that you were talking and then you did Snagglepuss and you could tell it was you, and I think that was the charm of it. And when you replace you with me, it takes that charm away because now what you have is it's just you doing a bad Snagglepuss impression, right?
I didn't think about that.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like that's I think what didn't work about it. But I think if we had just uploaded your original version, it would have worked.
I haven't heard
because
it since.
I listened to it. I thought it was really funny, and I was like, all right, I'll record my parts. And then we put it in, and we played it back, and we're like,
but we aired it anyway.
But we needed to like and okay. So here's the thing. We had a few ideas. Okay. I guess we can call this part rejected concepts, right? Yeah. So originally we were going to have people come on and, characters, whatever, cartoon characters come on to promote something like a press junket, right? And it was starting with this. It was exit stage right at the gift shop, mysterious hooded graffiti artist who sounds a lot like Snagglepuss.
Yeah.
And it was just going to be,
someone use that as their profile picture on, I forget what site. I remember, but I was just like, wait, I did that.
It's funny when you see that stuff just pop up. Cloudy with a Chance of Meatwad was another one. A local scientist is often regarded as a failure and continues to fail after cloning nothing but meatwads.
Oh, that's right. It's right in me.
See, there you go.
See, I do a pretty good meatwad.
Toy 10. Toy Story version of Taken? I don't know. That's what you wrote down.
I mean, yeah, I could see it working.
7 Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
The gang from 7 share Christmas gifts.
Which eventually turned into my Rubber Onion Battle.
Yep. We also had we were going to do one of the segments, one of the bits that we were going to do, and one thing that I wanted to do that was kind of a ripoff of the Futurama brought to you by in the beginning. It was going to it was. I was just listening to a lot of podcasts that were like, this podcast is brought to you by, Squarespace or
it's a ShareSpace
or Casper mattresses or whatever. And so we wanted to come up with fake products, and we were going to do
goatweed.
We were going to do commercials, fake commercials. So one of them was Thunder Pants. And the description is, can't keep up with your friend's audible farts? Use this fart amplifying underwear. Which is funny because there's a movie called Thunderpants. Then there's Spot Be Gone. Got a spot in your shirt? Stain the whole thing. Even it out. Then there was this one too. It was Cheater Pet. This was your idea. Hate losing at trivia games? Tempted to cheat but can't check your phone for answers? Try Cheater Pet. Whisper the question to your cheater pet, then distract other game players for 3 to 6 months till the answer grows. And then my idea was, this was going to be the next episode. Cheetah Pet. Actual cheetah. Michael Bay Bidet.
Oh, yes.
Sometimes water just doesn't get it all. You need to explode it clean. Which is so funny because you just talked about how your life has changed because now you have bidet.
There's a gif of I think it's from the Chappelle Show where he's like flying out of his toilet, like, and that's what I imagined the Michael Bay debate. Michael Bay bidet.
Yeah. So you wrote down Michael Bay Bidet, but I think it would be Michael Bidet. Michael Bay Day, and then the other one was maybe this was mine. I don't know. Welp, passive aggressive restaurant reviews.
That might have been yours.
That was mine. Yeah, Welp. Anyway, so those are some of our rejected ideas that we were going to do, and we might do them at some point. I still like the idea of
like that. The fake sponsor.
I like the idea of the fake sponsor. Yeah.
Very back of the kind of comic book.
So I had this idea for these things because obviously we want it to be a real sponsor. Like the real sponsor is Patreon, right?
Mm-hmm.
So my thought was we could come up with these, and then come up with images for each one of them. Each one of them, I would have to buy a domain name. And we'd say the domain name, and it would show the featured image of the thing. It would say, click here for more, and it would take you to the Patreon page.
Oh.
I thought that was a pretty good idea, which could be fun.
This segment is brought to you by Betterer Help.
Yes, better.
Better Help's not helping you?
No. This episode is brought to you by Worse Help. It's worse help. Want to feel better about yourself? Get some worse help.
Where they suggest worse?
They suggest things. You go like, I'm better than that. I don't know. We could workshop it.
Yeah.
Anyway, so now we're in the 100s. I'd say that 2016 we started the animation battles. That was also the freelance school. Freelance school 1, 2, 3, 4. I had a whole thing where it was going to be first week, second week, third week, fourth week. It was going to be all of January, and I was going to end on my birthday. And damn, Don Bluth just working his way in. I just had a bourbon burp, just like. I didn't remember this, but you said I messaged you the night before.
Oh yeah, Steven text me. Oh, you want to interview Don Bluth tomorrow? And I was like, yeah.
So
sure.
I don't know if I've ever mentioned this before, but I might as well mention this now. We record the podcast. I had all my questions written out. I was like ready to go, and I had all these different variations and permutations and things like that. I had a whole decision tree kind of thing of like, if he says this, we'll go here. If he introduces this, I had keywords that I was listening for to get me into other things, because I was like, I can't mess this up. I spent hours putting that document together.
Yeah.
Which I was like, for a first interview document, I feel like this is pretty. We had done interviews before, but this one I was like, I cannot mess this up.
Yeah.
And I put the whole thing together, and I was listening for any time that he said Disney, any time that he said, forming his, Don Bluth studio, Secret Nim, Death, anything like that. And I came up with a few opening jokes, a few opening lines. That's where I came up with that thing about, do all dogs go to heaven? And then he had like an actual answer to it. And I was like, I was not expecting that. But anyway, so we had the whole interview, and my microphone.
Oh, I forgot about that.
My microphone was off.
Woo.
So all I had to go on was I could pump up because you didn't talk like at all.
No, I was just like, that's not Blue.
Totally silent. So what I did was I bumped up your audio so high to listen to like, what was I saying at the time? Like, what part of the thing was I saying? And out of context and listening to those things, and I had my document, I reformulated what I was saying, and then I re-recorded the thing I was saying and put it over the sounds that I heard. And it wasn't, I couldn't hear it clearly. I just heard like, and I was like, I think that's this sentence, because he says this after this. And I was like, okay, so this, and that took me all night. I think I was up until like 3, 4 a.m., like putting that whole thing together.
I remember you telling me this, and
it was,
I mean, it wasn't,
I couldn't believe, I almost lost my mind when I put that together, and I was like, I have to put this out. I agreed to put this out immediately because he had his Kickstarter or his Indiegogo.
Oh yeah.
And so I had to turn it around so fast. It was, oh my God, it was so stressful.
Mr. Bluth, can we?
But it came
can we
out.
Try that again.
It came out really good though, and I don't think it's any different. I think it's exactly the way that it was. If anything, I think that my audio is like, I guess if you listen to it with that in mind, you can probably hear I'm recording it after the fact. Because if you listen to other interviews, it's more like this. It's more, the energy, I think, in my pre-recorded or my post-recorded stuff it's just all the same. It's just talking at the same level, and in a dialogue, you kind of go up and down, and I didn't really do that. So anyway, I can hear it.
Do all dogs go to heaven?
But I don't think anyone noticed. I don't think anyone knew it. It was a success story. It was all, whatever. Anyway, so that was a huge thing. And that interview kicked off, and we had done other interviews, but that interview in particular kicked off a whole bunch of things I really liked. Can I read off the interviews? Let me read off the interviews.
Sure. Yeah.
All right, here we go. You want to hear the interviews that we done? Episode 5, Andrew Keiko. Great. Episode 85, Rob Pratt. Episode 90, Exit 73 Studios. So that was in the first 100, right?
Yeah.
And then I wanted to go into a rotation. I wanted to do a segment show, interview, hot cocoa show, an informative show. I wanted to kind of go into like a 4-round thing like that. So I started separating them by 4 or so. So we did interview with Elliott Cowan, Muck Putty, Doug Bressler, Don Bluth, Harry Partridge, Tom Moore, Adam Phillips, Joel Furtado, Robert Valley, Signa Bowman, and Sturgis Warner, Joy Brandt, Noel Melody, and Lizzie Akana. That was at Animation Block Party in 2017.
Oh, yeah. That was cool. That was a cool event.
Tim Roush, Felicity Moreland, Spike Decker, and Kat Eliashin, and Jasmine Katatakarn. And those were all our interviews.
Yeah.
And then we had creator spotlights. We had Jamil Lahan, Ross Bollinger, Alex Dudley, Peter J. Casey Picapedi, Dave Johnson, which was actually an interview that I had done at my first time at CTN. I was going to do interviews with people and I was going to animate over top of them.
Yeah.
I
remember. Yeah.
And it just never happened. But since he did stuff on mocap, I thought it made sense. Chinzi Angelini, Paul Ota King Johnson, Steve Henderson, who came on to talk about Brexit and how that might, especially, the fact that maybe subsidies and stuff through borders might change animation wise. He's at Squiggly. Emma Yamazaki and Jacob Kafka, Justin Goran to talk about the ARC Productions bankruptcy, Vivian Madrano, which was a long one, which really should have been its own interview, but we told her we were going to put it into a show and that we would separate it so that she could have it on her own thing. So we kept it as a creator spotlight, but it should have been its own thing. Taylor Armstrong, Joanna Davidovich.
Ah.
Put it back there. Okay. It was a little sell for people that are listening. Brian Ingram talking about Brazen animation, and I think that was all our creator spotlights. I think so. So we had so many people, and right at that part, you're talking Ellie Cowan, Muck Putty. I love the Muck Putty interview.
Yeah.
The Doug Bressler one was really fun because we were also on his
that was
Animation Ninja.
Crossover. Yeah.
We did his interview, his podcast, and then he did ours, and I think we did it the same day. I can't remember. It was a lot. Then we did Don Bluth and Harry Partridge and Tom Moore, and it was just it was such a run of interviews. I really, really loved that time, and I have a whole list of interviews that I wanted to do, continuing past that, and I feel like
Robert Valley one was
Robert Valley was so fun.
He's just such a cool guy. Not so long ago, I think. Maybe last month I was trying to I was looking at some of his tutorial videos and stuff, and just how he kind of goes along with stuff. It's just my last video didn't do so well, but
well, the thing I was also really surprised. Elliott Cowan I had talked to before.
Yeah, Tom
Moore, I was surprised at how easy it was to talk to him. He was so. I think it was just because. Maybe it was just because of multiple time Oscar nominee. I thought that maybe it would be, there would be a disconnect there, but he was just totally down to earth.
Teenage superhero.
So I had the freelance the freelance school. It's gonna be 1, 2, 3, 4. Don Bluth was in there. I think that was very successful. The freelance school, and the ebook that we put out, or that I put out, and then my book hadn't even come out. It was supposed to come out that year, but then they changed.
What book is this?
Oh, it's Traditional Animate CC 12 Principles of Animation in Adobe Animate.
Oh.
Still holds up, by the way. I looked. The only thing that doesn't hold up, you know what they did? They hid the snap to objects. You can't just toggle it on and off. Now you have to. You can do it through keys, but it's really annoying to set them all up. And it's snap to objects, snap to grid, snap to pixel, snap to. It's just, and you have to click on it and do it. I used to do a quick snap to object, and snap to one thing, and then turn it off, and so I didn't have to do it with the other one.
Yeah.
And that you can't do that anymore. It's
I usually go from snap to crackle and then pop.
We got to crack open another one.
Yep.
Here's gonna be this joke. Let's get some Maker's Mark. Oh no, that's Maker's Bark.
For the dog.
Barking good drink. This is for the puppy. People who are on the live show met my new puppy, which I am very very happy about. I have been waiting to get a dog for a very long time. Oh, here we go.
Oh, and these onions, by the way,
Mark.
a gift from Picapedi. Rubber onions.
Yeah, and which one was this? Was this also?
They had an onion smell.
Which one was this? Was this also Picapedi? Did he give us? Who gave us this one?
I don't remember.
I don't know.
Okay, Mr. Burns, what is your first name? I don't know. Oh wait, let me.
Makers.
Mhm.
There you go.
There we go.
Okay. We should probably do some wormwood after that. All right. So, we had a good run there. I think in the 150s we were living together at that time. I think I mentioned, I was going through some things. I think any eagle-eye viewer of the YouTube channel and just the life in general kind of gets it. It's fine. We were bachelors. We were living together.
You'll see it in the biopic.
We were having a good time. And we started doing some new variations. I have it on my notes here. After Dark, Road Trip, which is actually the first episode that you ever missed entirely. Like, I always did the top 10 New Year's episodes by myself. I just recorded those, but you were in them because you were in the clips.
Yeah.
This is the first time your voice was never heard on a podcast, and you were so upset.
Yeah.
You were hurt. I actually felt really bad because I didn't even think about it, and you looked sad.
I didn't feel it wasn't a betrayed. It was just
152.
It was just.
It was my road trip to Ottawa.
Having that many episodes, being involved in it, and then missing out on that one. It was like that kid who goes to every school, every class, every day, never misses out.
Yeah.
To get that perfect
attendance. Yeah.
Yeah, and then that's I'm perfectly fine with it now.
I mean, so this is what I say.
But I did enjoy listening to it.
I always said that there would never be an episode of the Rubber Indian podcast without me.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if you remember, someone floated that idea, and I was like,
"Oh yeah."
I was like,
"Why don't you?"
No.
You could go, and me and Rob got it from here. It's fine.
Yeah. It's like,
oh, you.
No, that's not gonna happen because the whole point.
Robert, Pat, in the morning.
But at this point, like I wouldn't do an episode without you. The Rubber Indian podcast is you and me.
Yeah.
And like, I know I'm Rubber Onion, but like, I try to bring you into like everything that I do now. Freelance jobs and stuff like that. I also do the same thing. But we did. There was another road trip episode. Oh, Cujo and the Three Kings, 173. That you were actually on the.
Yeah, and that felt kind of cool because I felt like I was a guest on that episode. Because did you have 2 episodes of you on the road?
I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, because then I think at that point I was like, oh, this is kind of cool.
And we did the bridge.
Yeah, that was. Every time we hit, we got a bridge. We just, depending on the length of the bridge, we would bridge out the word bridge.
Bridge. And then just keep talking.
Yeah.
We would just talk like this, and then in the middle of the bridge.
Oh, yeah. We'll be
and
in
just
middle,
go back to talking. Yeah.
I think we were talking about Jurassic Park, and I was like, oh, yeah, that scene with Newman. Bridge!
With Newman. I also want to say, 150 is when we were living together. We had those new variations. After Dark, Road Trip. The events, Rubber Indian Viewing Party. We did the Nightmare Before Christmas is the one that we uploaded on our own. And 175, 176 was the Rubber Onion meetup, book signing, and my birthday. There's all that. That's where we got the cookies and the bourbon.
Yeah.
It's just a really fun time. just going back and looking at some of these episodes, I mean, animating live on Twitch, one of the battles, it was the qualifications episode. That was a great one. The Ottawa recap was the After Dark episode. 3-year anniversary live show. Freelance Horror Stories 3, by the way, which I think was the one with, Don Bluth and Adam Phillips like all, which I just think is like
underrated podcast.
It may be the greatest episode that we've done.
Yeah.
And it's crazy that, and I don't do a good job at promoting it, really. I just kind of feel like, I don't know, maybe word of mouth will get around, like, oh, all these animation greats are
I still
sharing
feel like
their...
at some point people are going to stumble upon this when we're long gone.
Yeah, maybe.
And think these...
Episode 165, the ROVP, the Rubber Band Viewing Party Number Before Christmas. 162 was Forum by them. That was the debut of the Forum. And I liked the Forum. I just think that the problem was the Forum was hard to keep up because there was a lot of spam and stuff. And, an active, engaged audience is something that just happens naturally. And if, you can't force it. If they don't want to do the Forum thing, maybe it just doesn't catch on, And I don't know exactly what I feel like I want to move this to something else. I feel like Discord makes sense. Because it's part of the Patreon. But I don't know if everyone uses Discord. I don't know. If anyone has an idea about what community kind of thing, like, what do you use? Do you use Slack? Do you use, what do you use? That we could, create a thing that we could all kind of, be on and be a part of. Like, I'd love to have just a thing where we talk about stuff and share things and...
Yeah.
Patreon could be that and should be that, but it's just so hard to share things on Patreon because everything comes up as this post. And it's just, you want the immediacy of things. Let's see. Oh, let's go to 2017.
Ah, yes.
2017, we started doing our Live from Brooklyn, episode 180, 185, 188, 194, 198, and 201. Live from Brooklyn, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. We did 6.
Yeah. That was I love
6 months.
I love those shows. I mean,
there's some of my favorite memories.
Obviously, I had to second.
A couple of them were big.
Yeah.
A couple of them were small, but the small ones were just as fun. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, I remember leaving work and I would go straight to Freddy's and we start setting up, and it felt like I remember Robert Lyons saying it felt like going to like Spike and Mike kind of thing, and I was so honored that he said that because it was just like, it felt it was very kind of like almost like a vaudeville kind of act or like it was just fun. I think a lot of times to hear that instant feedback from everyone and just kind of like people shouting answers to you and stuff. It's kind of like this. Unfortunately, we can't hear you guys on the live chat, but to have like people there, and I mean, we were tired also from working today and knowing we had to do this, but it was just a lot of fun to just get drunk and have people all together and just doing the show there. Just no exact kind of like, you had your like what we were going over and stuff like that, but just the moments of us kind of just randomly.
I love that.
Before we recorded, setting up the microphone, and it's just like us going back and forth before it's starting. It was just.
I have all those videos too, and I only edited, I think, the first one because I think that one was really fun, but. They were really great, and I want to do them again. We were going to actually remember we were going to start doing them in 2020. Mm-hmm. That was the idea, and then, oops,
what happened?
Well, let's get to that. So we had those. I think I had mentioned. Let me go back to the thing here. Oh yes, that's right. So. In 2017, we did the live shows. My book came out, and I started working at Our Cartoon President.
Yeah.
And that 2017, I think, is where things started to get a little more difficult for us to do things. The live shows were really great. We were, keeping up with them. I think it was toward the end of that, after, the back half. I was doing more, more in-office work. 2016, I almost quit animation. I think I've mentioned this before.
Yeah.
2016 was a really tough year for me.
I remember that exact day where you're
personally.
like, I think I'm going to move on from animation and just kind of do other things.
Now, I have to say, for anyone listening right now who is into animation, who is just starting out, understand you're going to feel this way probably once every 5 years or so. I feel like I've probably been ready to quit animation 3 or 4 times. Just because I feel like, I feel like I've kind of gotten to where I wanted to get to. I'm done with that, The hope is, New York to become kind of another union town, to take the series of jobs and turn it into a career. Because that's the big thing, is that I think there's just a lot of people who just feel like, okay, well, I've done my stuff. I'm working job to job. I'm always working job to job, but I have to pay for my own health insurance. I got my own, my own retirement. Most jobs don't pay for health insurance or retirement or anything like that. It's kind of rare that you get that. And if you do, okay, great. But it is tough sometimes, especially if you're doing freelance. It's tough to keep going down that road because it's not one of longevity, let's say.
Oh yeah. That's why I always found that comparison of like animation and the stand-up world, because like if you're doing stand-up for so many years and you see some friends, like some of your other stand-up people getting Netflix deals and series and they're on SNL, and you're like still kind of doing your act, and like there's a lot of times where you feel that same kind of thing, especially if you're like an independent animator. Yeah. Of like where's this going?
And then you see like Bill Plimpton. Yeah. Just encapsulating the hustle. Like that's all he does. He just hustles. He sells all the time. I told you I probably should have brought out the book. I have the book that David Levy wrote about Bill Plimpton, and it was him and Bill signing at the Museum of Moving Image. And I remember talking to David Levy, and I was like, hey man, it's nice to see you again. I really had only seen him like a couple times at a CIFA event. I didn't know him at all. I was like, nice to see you. I'm looking forward to checking out the book. I bought your other book. He's like, oh yeah. And we chatted for a little bit, and then I went over and I talked to Bill Plimpton, and I was like, oh, this is gonna be really great. I'm an animator. I'm still doing my thing, kind of starting out, but I love your career trajectory, whatever bullshit I was saying. And he was like, oh yeah, you're an animator. You done anything that I know? I was like, I had something in a South Beach animation festival that kind of won something, but probably not. Mostly online stuff. And he goes, oh, okay. And then he just like looks down and continues signing and just like pushes it off to the side. I was like, this is a guy who really knows you only waste time with people who like can give you something.
I remember meeting his blog buddy Patrick Smith, and I remember
just for you guys.
I was with my girlfriend at the time, and she tells Patrick Smith and says like, oh yeah, my boyfriend, he listens to he reads your blogs like, religiously, and I was like, what do you? I looked at her like, no, I don't.
Pencil junkies?
Yeah. I mean, I look at it, but occasionally, but religiously, no. Not enough to answer his question, his follow-up question to like, what is your favorite post? And I said, yeah, that, I don't know how I got out of it. I think I was just drunk enough to think I cleverly escaped from there, but I think I just said, yeah, and then I walked away.
In 2018, I have on my notes travel because I went to Annecy, went to Kineticon, which was a fun thing because we did the panel with James T. Nethery Regents, who, by the way, I can say this also. I just I gave him a little commission to do a harmony rig for my character. I didn't have him do your character yet because I kind of want to learn a little bit about harmony. But I think harmony might work out pretty well. I just kind of want to learn a little bit more about it. But if anyone's looking for some harmony rigs, reach out to James T. Nethery. But 2018 was also the year I moved out, and we were doing freelance together.
Yeah. Was that the time? Yeah, I remember bringing my computer.
You brought your whole computer over to my apartment. You left it there, and we did days of animation.
Yeah.
That was so fun.
We put for like 24 hours.
We put so many horror movies, so many B movies on TV, and we just like ordered food and just animated. It was. That's like the dream.
Yeah.
It's kind of the dream. I know it's stupid, but just to have like a friend that you work on a freelance project with, and you got the two computers, and you just like sit next to each other, and you're animating. I'm animating file and passing it off to you. We're taking a break for a drink, and then we're like, it was really, really great.
I think that's the worst part about the podcast is that whenever we do have like a really fun moment,
right?
There is a part of us that always says, "Oh man, that would have been a great episode of the podcast."
Well, also, when you're spending that kind of time and you're not really doing anything, like you're spending that kind of time together and you're not recording it, it does feel like it might be a little bit of a missed opportunity.
Yeah.
So then we're moving along here. You got your job at OCP in 2018.
Yeah. After a lot of talking with
that we were working together.
I remember talking to you and saying like, I don't know, because the job I had benefits and retirement plan, and I said, maybe jumping into animation is not the greatest idea, especially a show about Donald Trump, and you kind of helped me say like, maybe you should just do it, and you did really kind of like ensured me that like there was always this thing with animators where we just know like we can kind of hop onto another project and stuff. So I always appreciated that you like kind of you were good at comforting me and making that decision because you knew.
I'm glad you say that because I felt like I was a little worried that I might have pressured you into leaving. Because I mean, we started the podcast with your foot surgery.
Yeah.
Like you need health insurance. Everyone needs health insurance. It's health insurance.
Yeah.
But you had retirement plan. You had all these sorts of. And
I had the kind of job for 6 months. I could have that. I could not be at work and still get paid every single day.
It was, and you would get a pension. You work for the government, and to leave that to go on to animation, where yes, you would do this job, but after that, there was no telling what it would. You are the biggest success story, honestly, because you moved from that, you went to OCP, and then from OCP, you went to Late Show.
Yeah,
and they like you at Late Show because of your style, because of what you do, and not because of like you fitting into whatever. It's they saw the stuff that you do, and even Colbert likes it. He sees it and he like sees the influences and he likes it, and you pitch things, and like I live vicariously. That's like, do you remember when we were like making featured images and things like that? Like even when we were doing the podcast and stuff, I think we were watching, I think it was actually John Oliver. I think it was like Last Week Tonight. And we were like, wouldn't that be the dream job? Is just to make the over-the-shoulder images. And then together, now that's what you do.
And John Oliver had like a really funny mock-up. And I looked at Steve and I was like, dream job just to do like funny stuff like that. Because I was doing a lot of that stuff anyway. I think when you were moving out, I did a whole like kind of liquidation kind of everything must go kind of thing. And I would just love to just kind of do these, like somebody posted a photo and I just kind of, my friends took a photo and I put Obama in the background just randomly.
You did that with some of my photos. You put Godzilla in the background and
like not knowing that was almost like training myself to do what I like do for a living now.
And honestly, I like the featured images, literally just the over-the-shoulder images, and I like some of them. So that's what I want to say for the featured images. My favorite featured image, I think, is Aaron Darrenofsky, that episode, because it's us. The Fortnite episode, the Fortnite featured image. And I think after that into the 200s, I think, is when I started putting a lot more attention to the featured images. And I remember one where we talked about Sea Beast. And I had this whole thing, and I talked about it on one of the podcasts, but I had this whole thing about what it all meant and the red and the blue and the logos and everything. And it was a whole production.
Yeah.
And I really enjoy putting some of that stuff together. The featured images are really fun. Although I really feel like you should be doing the featured images. Just because like that's what you do now.
Yeah.
You're like, that's your skill, is doing that. And I want to like,
but you do have a great way of like linking together just the topics we talk about.
I do
and
like
how
it.
And sometimes I see it, sometimes I don't.
Put my phone.
Where Steven's like, "Do you get the joke?" And I go, no.
Well, so that's the thing, is that I feel like my crutch is that I overthink things, and you do things that it's gonna sound bad. You do things that people can grasp.
Yeah.
I don't think I do that all that well. So anyway, point is, we're in 2018. Great. I'm moving out. You're at OCP. We're starting to lose a little bit of the time that we're doing things. 2019 is basically the same as 2018. 2019 is just, just holding on, right? Yeah. We're both doing our own work. We're both working at OCP. We're kind of doing our stuff. We're supposed to do more episodes, and then the pandemic hits in 2020. We were going to do a whole bunch of stuff in 2020. We had this because 2019 we're like, oh, we're kind of falling back. Let's get back to it in 2020.
Which we kind of foreshadowed the whole pandemic in the freelance horror stories.
Oh, the freelance horror stories. 2019 yeah.
Made a whole pandemic kind of joke. Me and you in an underground bunker.
That was where I told my CTN story finally. Yeah.
And it was like...
Which, by the way, I listened back to it, and it doesn't sound as bad. But, like, when you're in it...
Yeah.
It feels bad. It was the first time I was severely taken advantage of by a person in power. It's not the last time, but it's the time that I'll talk about.
Yes.
I started my directing job, though, in 2020, which was a big deal. And that obviously took, so I was directing Tuning Out the News, and that took a bunch of my time, animation directing. And, I had a goal for myself that I was going to direct before I was 40. And I remember talking to the guy who was originally the animation director, and he was like, how old are you now? And I don't remember how old I was. I was like 38 or something. I was like, oh, you'll be fine. I didn't know at the time that he was already looking for like another job. Like he was already interviewing for this other job that he was going to leave to. So he left, and I kind of slipped in, and I got that job partway through the season. And so I have it on my notes here. We had a 3-month gap from January to March in 2020. So in the beginning of 2020, there was just so much going on. Like that was the directing portion. And March is when the lockdown happened. So we're in lockdown. We're like, okay, well, let's do a podcast, right? Now we have time. Then we had a 2-month gap from May to July because now things are just like crazy. Then we had a 5-month gap from October of 2020 to March of 2021. And I feel like around that time, there was so much going on. And we talk about it because we came back with the episode, It's Not All About You. And it was just, there was, the George Floyd protests, and there was a lot of things that were happening, but it just felt like there was just too much. There wasn't anything that I felt like animation stuff that we're going to talk about, we got on calls, we hung out on Zoom, we talked, we just didn't do a podcast.
Yeah.
We continued to talk, and I remember saying, like, you think it's time to like get back to it? I'm like, maybe some time. And then you would ask me, like, you want to record another podcast? And we're like, I don't know.
It was also a time where you felt like you had all the time in the world, but then, like, you didn't want to do anything. It was just kind of like a very, like...
It was a little bit of a nexus zone of what do we do with this time?
Yeah. It's a great thing that the world is great now and everything. And there's no issues going on whatsoever.
By the way, I forgot to say that in 2019 we started the lunchtime episodes.
Oh yeah.
And our last lunchtime episode was in 2020.
Yeah.
We hadn't done any more of those. I don't think there was a huge response to the lunchtime episodes. But then 2021, I started working on Fairview in the beginning of 2021, or the middle of 2021. So I was directing, I was the animation director of Tuning Out the News, season 1, and then into season 2. And I left season 2 to go be a supervising animation director for Fairview in 2021. And that got all messed up because of a whole bunch of reasons, but then we came back to it in 2022 and finished that season out, and then I went back to season 3 of Tuning Out the News, which was last season. But so 2021 we only did 3 episodes that season, that year. We did 3 episodes for Patreon though. Plug for Patreon. If you want to always be up to date on the episodes, make sure that you're a patron, because we always upload those. But yeah, we uploaded 3 there, and we held on to them. And there was basically a year off from April 30th, 2021 to May 20th, 2022.
That's a big long
kind
of gap.
That was the longest time that we had never, and so we had a huge drop off in patrons, obviously. And I had looked into pausing the Patreon, but they wouldn't let me do it, so I just like made a post. But the support of that kept at least the. Because it's still a monthly thing to keep all the episodes hosted and stuff.
Yeah.
So like the patrons that hung on kept all that going without me losing any to the podcast. But I was still working, so it was kind of okay. I mean, I don't want to make it sound like I can't put any of my own money into it or whatever.
I just say I have to painfully pee.
Yes, but we're almost done because we're in 2022. We did 12 episodes, and one of my favorite of the most recent episodes, the Beavis and Butthead retrospective.
Oh, yes,
I love that episode. I love that episode. I had so much fun with that episode. And then 2023, we did Ain't I a Stinker?
Yeah.
Which is another really good episode. And I just feel like from 2018 up until now, we've done the same amount of episodes that we did in previous years, and I actually have the numbers. I can read them out to you now, just in case anyone was like, wait a second, but I've been like supporting them. Why haven't they been uploading? I got the numbers, and I know exactly what they are. We started an episode, and
he's got the receipts.
In 2013, we started. You can go to the bathroom. I'll read out the numbers. Why don't you go to the bathroom? I'll read out the numbers.
Yeah, I got like a racehorse.
You gotta piss like a racehorse?
Yep.
Okay.
No, I gotta run. Oh my god.
Have you ever seen a racehorse piss?
And I put a wreath around my neck, my head. What?
Put a wreath around your head?
Isn't that when I win the race?
Sure. Just go. Oh my god, he's doing the shoulder thing. All right, let me just say. 2013, we uploaded 10 episodes. Obviously, we started around now, so we uploaded, from October to the end of the year. 2014, we uploaded 52 episodes, a solid every single week. 52 episodes, 52 weeks, 52 episodes. 2015, 53 episodes. 2016, 58 episodes. That was the most episodes. We were living together. We kind of put a bunch of stuff out. 2017, I started working at OCP. We were still living together. I had 49 episodes of what we put out. And then 2018, we put out 22 episodes. That's when I was living on my own and stuff. And we had kind of gone off on our own things, and he was working there as well. 2019, we put out 19 episodes. 2020, we put out 12 episodes. 2021, we put out 3 episodes, but if you were a patron, we put out 6. 2022, we put out 12 episodes, but if you were a patron, 3 of those were already known to you. And then so far in 2023, we've put out 4 episodes, except we've already, for patrons, we put out 2 episodes, and this one will be the 3rd. So by the time you hear this as a person in the wild, it will be 7 episodes, and we're hoping to be able to get out another few. I want to get nice solid 10 episodes out by the end of the year. So I do have some thoughts about 2024 that I have a couple ideas. Kind of depends on the editor situation, depends on some of our time situation. One of my ideas was, it's okay, you can take your time. One of our ideas was to do a monthly episode that was all interviews. I've wanted to do a bunch of interviews. I wanted to interview Brenda Chapman for a long time, Jorge Gutierrez for a long time.
Oh,
yeah. Michel Gagne has been on the list for a while. I'm still waiting for him to put out his, Saga of Rex. As soon as he puts that out, I'll interview him. Still waiting on that. But Ryan Woodward would be a great one to interview. I have a lot of people that I feel like, I've talked to before and have maybe some sort of to talk about, to talk with, that I would like to do some interviews. And I think we're good at the interviews.
Oh yeah. I wish that some of the people we interviewed in the past, I was who I am now.
Yeah.
Because I think I'd have a little more to say. Maybe 3 extra sentences I would add to this, but
sure.
But I think I got a little more to say now. I think.
I mean, so Don Bluth was like a massive influence on me as a child, as an animator. And so I've already gotten to the point where I've talked to, someone who was like just my...
Oh, mine. I think the interview that I talked the most was during the Spike and Mike thing with
sure.
Spike and,
and
Cat.
Yep, Spike and Cat.
That was really great.
It was such a fun, and they were really cool to talk to. Yeah, it was really fun. And Signa Bowman, we actually had over at our apartment. Remember?
Oh yeah,
Signa and Sturgis. They biked down to our apartment. I saw them biking out here recently.
Oh really?
Yeah. They bike all around. They they live by you.
Oh
yeah, they live by you.
Wait,
you don't need to give away where you.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot.
But yeah. So I'm gonna go down to this. I just want to make sure that we don't miss anything. If anyone in the chat wants to say anything that we should talk about, I just kind of want to go through the freelance horror stories.
Yeah.
I loved we were up to now, and I told them about the interviews idea, but I also kind of feel like if I can get an editor, I would love to do more segment episodes. I feel like I really want to do more top 5s. I want to do, I just want to give whatever editor, I just want to say, like, listen to episode 101, and any episode from there up to 113, that's what I want to do. I want to kind of get back to that and throw in some interviews in there. I'm fine recording whenever we can, as long as I don't have to also edit it, because I don't really have a lot of time to do that.
Yeah.
I've been directing for the last few years. I'm working on Archer now. There's just like, and you're doing Late Show. Late Show is very demanding. There's like not a lot of time to edit big stuff like that I can like take the time. When you're a freelancer, you can do that because like all you're doing is spending that time. I want to get an editor to kind of help out with some of the bigger stuff, so I can, so we can focus on preparing for the show itself, recording the show, and then getting the show out.
So live the way I lived for.
Yes, there's one or two ways we could go. So anyway, we have some things. Freelance horror stories.
Yeah.
Love the freelance horror stories. I want to do those again. We're not going to do that for this Halloween, but I do kind of want to bring it back for the next one. We did a couple years, 2 years, I think, where we just kind of did a different thing.
There was always a turn, because it's not necessarily...
Because Freelance Horror Stories 3, I think, we just thought was like the end-all, be-all. Yeah. That's it. And we ended up doing Freelance Horror Stories 4, but after, we were doing like, animation, whatever, Curses, I think, is one of them. And then the Freelance Horror Story, which was mine, that I told people I was going to share, and then I shared that one. The Freelance Horror Stories, I think, were great, and I would love to get more listeners involved in those. Some of my favorite ones were just like Pick-a-Petey with his shot. What was it? Shot 13? I forget what shot it was that.
Oh yeah.
Someone had put Samara behind the. Oh, spoilers alert! Someone had put just
Martin
in
Bell?
the background. Oh my God! I mean, well, that one was Freelance Horror Story 3. That one was like disgusting.
It could go so many ways with Freelance Horror Stories.
Yeah,
like it's industry stuff, and then you get really unique stories that no one's ever going to hear about. Don Bluth's Halloween story. That's not really an industry story whatsoever.
I think the horror story aspect is the thing that messed him up, because he was, his whole thing was he was like almost abducted as a kid. Like, oh my God. Thank you for telling me, I guess.
Was the day Jesus came to his life.
Interviews. I already listed off all the interviews, but what I didn't list off was the Hot Cocoa shows. The Hot Cocoa shows and informationals, right? Episode 46, Hot Cocoa Show.
Yeah.
Right? That's the one we did, and we just kind of chatted. Episode 78 was What is a Creative? And that was the first real Hot Cocoa show. Episode 97, How to Collaborate Effectively. It's a great one. And then this run, which I'm very proud of this, I think. I put blogs together for all these. Starting at 103, copyright and what animators need to know about it, how to be productive and lazy, what to do when technology lets you down as an artist, and then obviously 114, 116, 117, 118, freelance school years 1 through 4. How to be a faster animator, live action versus animation, virtual reality and emerging technologies, animators and back pain, internet hate, resolutions and how to keep them, short versus long animated content, what to choose and why, pros and cons of freelancing versus office work, movement versus progress, going on vacation as a freelancer using YOLO and FOMO, film recommendations for new animators to study from, imagination and ideas for the jaded, role of independent animation in the digital age, realities of an animation career roadblock, ain't I a stinker. These are great episodes.
Yeah,
they're really fun. I think they're great topics. And
before we talked about before we started recording, we were talking about the back pain episode. And at the time, oh my God, did I fight to not do that episode, because I was just like, I think we were some spring chickens, I think, at the time. So I was just like, back pain? Why are we gonna make an episode about back pain?
And now,
and oh boy, did I
was right, y'all. I was right.
Now back pain is a thing.
Here are some of the ones that I had that I think some of them I kind of hit. I wrote them down in this document that I haven't gotten to yet. Current pandemic and its effect on indie animation. Budgeting for animation projects. Is art block real? Staying organized. Tackling big projects. All animation styles and genres. Adapting your career as it progresses. Common career pitfalls and how to avoid them. I think some of them we hit. If you're interested in any of those, let me know which ones you're interested in.
I think we kind of lightly
we could talk.
touched on a lot of them, but
yeah,
we can go more in depth.
Yeah. There were some episode releases like I have on here that I've things that I wanted to, like, people I wanted to talk to. I wanted to interview. Let me get down here. I wanted to interview Tiny Inventions. I think they're really great with their stop motion stuff. Hike Manukin. I don't know how you pronounce his name, but I think that's right. Does great work, wonderful work, and has a really fun animated series, independent series online that I really wanted to talk to him about, or wanted to talk to him. Internet comments. I don't understand why this is here or like what this thing is. But yeah, we had some things on the list that we were going to do that we never really got to. Battles. I love doing the battles.
Oh man,
the battles were so fun.
There was a lot of talk too at some point. We were like, maybe we should just do battle episodes or something. Like, I think the unique thing about that was just, it was just such an exciting thing to every month see where people would take this concept.
Yeah.
You know?
So what I want to do, and I'm going to mention this now just to put it out there, just in case anyone gets ahead of me. I want to do a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Reanimated. I want to do... I have a couple episodes picked out. And being that I am I've been a director for a few years now. I feel like I have enough under my belt to keep the thing going and give people what they need in order to make the project go. And I want to make a place where people can share their stuff. I feel like Discord is for patrons. I feel like I might do it on Slack just because Slack is something that is very, very familiar to us work-wise. But I want to do Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Reanimated, and I'm eyeing that for 2024. So if you want to animate, get ready. I think what I'm probably going to do is I'm not going to give it to anyone. I'm going to take some, you're going to have to give me your reel or something like that, and give me like a little idea, just a little write-up of what you want to do with your scene. Like, what do you want to take? Here's the stuff. How do you want to interpret it? That kind of thing. Just to get people into it. And I think that would kind of fill the space of the battles. I really want to do another live show. I really want to do stuff at Freddy's. But it doesn't necessarily need to be the battle. It could be anything else. It could be, us showing an animated movie and just doing a podcast in between or something like that.
A friend of mine was performing at Freddy's not so long ago, and it just made it. I just was just like, man, I really miss doing those shows. Oh my God, yes.
Wormwood?
Yep. Hold on.
Okay, wait. Oh, hey, hold on. Oh, I didn't get the thing. Okay.
Boom. Nice. Boom.
There you go.
All right.
Now, this is your favorite bourbon. This is why I have this, or this is a rye. This is why I have this around, because this is your favorite.
Yeah.
I like to have everyone's favorite around. Oh, I didn't have anything in here.
Yeah, you kind of you're very great, generous with this pour.
Oh, Lamont says he had to apply to work on Dover Boys. So that's another thing that I would really like to hear about how other reanimated projects work. Just kind of get I did that
I've done the Steam Ham one. I did a couple of them, but Steam Hams is the one that was really great. Popeye, the Popeye one.
I want to see how they're organized because I have my own idea about how I'd organize it, but I want to get an idea about how other people do it and just what they expect. You had written down as a topic the friends that we have made throughout the podcast. And I will say, we have... so I feel like I've known Lamont for a while, before the podcast. But we've met people through the podcast or become better friends with people through the podcast because of, regular interactions.
Yeah. I get a text...
Basically, anyone who's on the Patreon is
every holiday, birthday, I get a text from Ron Tron.
Yeah.
Hey, man. Yeah. Hey, Rob. Happy birthday. Happy.
He messaged me every once in a while. Yeah. I haven't heard from Brian in a while.
Yeah.
Yeah. I should message. Brian. I wonder if he's still working at the same spot. But yeah, we got some great friends through the podcast, which is really funny because I usually say to my friends, I don't want my friends to listen to the podcast. Unless we're friends because you listen to the podcast. We are friends. I feel like we are friends with people who are in the New York area who listen to the podcast, but also people who are kind of out and around. It really speaks less to the podcast and more to the independent animation, freelance animation world, where networking through the internet is the way that you do it. Yeah. And the podcast is one of it. We're animators. Yes, we have a podcast, but we're talking. This isn't I know what this podcast is. It's never going to be the biggest thing because I really just want to do what I want to do. And I think what I want to do is not what everyone wants.
Yeah.
But there are people who really like it. And those people really connect with us.
Yeah.
Because we like what we like, and what we like we put out, and they listen to it and they like it, and then they're friends with us.
There have been some questionable things that you turned down that I was like, what?
Turned down?
Yeah, we had a couple of interview offers that.
Like what?
Was it Rick and Morty?
Oh yeah.
I think it was a cast of Rick and Morty.
Yeah.
As he was like, nah.
No.
We could have talked to the Justin Roiland.
No, he wasn't on it. He wasn't on it.
Yeah.
No, I had no interest in talking to. Well, because the thing is, I was listening. I was just thinking, what would I say? What do I have to talk about? Well, because
even
honestly,
even
what do I have to ask the voice actors of Rick and Morty? First of all, I don't like the show.
Yeah.
And I've said this before, and I know everyone loves the show, and I just don't like the show. Okay, I'm not hating on the show, but the thing is, for the voice, what am I going to ask them that is going to that I'm interested in, that is going to be interesting from an animation perspective?
Mm-hmm.
I just didn't feel like there was anything there. Yes, I should have done it for popularity reasons, but that's exactly my point. I don't do that because
stuck to your guns kind of thing. Although
it made no sense.
I wouldn't say I'm not gonna say super fan, but I am a fan of Rick and Morty. Like the series is, I watch it.
By the way, we're 2 bottles down now.
But would I? But
counting.
The reason why I agree with Steven of not interviewing him, because I would not have anything to say other than, oh yeah, I watch your show before I fall asleep.
Is there anyone else that I turned down that
I think it was it the King Star King? Which I
yes.
I am
King
a
Star
fan
King.
of.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
love
yeah,
the animation. I don't know if you are a fan of the animation.
I'm not, but the person, he's doing something else now, right?
He did the logo for the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yes, yeah, that's fun. Yeah.
But I think at the time it was just kind of like, I agreed with your statement of like, I don't know, it's just not for us, because although I do like the two series, I don't think there's enough for me to go. It would be the Chris Farley interviewing anyone.
The Chris Farley show.
I'm not gonna say a Beatle because
I get a lot of messages from people from publicity, from agents or whatever that are like, this, you can interview this person for this thing that's coming out. And I'm like, that's not, I personally don't have anything to ask them. I don't have anything, and I won't do an interview unless I have a thing that I want to talk to someone about. Now, I will say that I haven't watched it yet, but I'm going to watch it this weekend. Or not this weekend, but during the week, because I got plans this weekend. Yeah. But Scavenger, what's it called?
Scavenger.
No, we saw the animated short. Or maybe we didn't. Maybe it was at Ottawa. But I thought we saw the animated short at Animation Block Party. Scavenger Rain. It was an animated short of these people who were on like an alien planet.
Oh, I think
was it Animation Block Party?
I think it was Animation Block Party.
Yeah. So I feel like watching that, I might want to talk to the people behind that, and since Sean Bacalao, I think is his name. I don't know what his name is. Has been behind a few things, this and BoJack, and kind of want to talk to him about like, some of the things that he's produced. I'm interested, but it has to be the right person.
You're talking about Animation Block Party. I remember the co-creator of BoJack Horseman was there with us.
Oh yeah.
And I think at some point I was joking about a bottle of beer being a penis and I was blowing it. And the co-creator of BoJack, I had no idea it was. I think we do follow each other on the gram. But I remember I've embarrassed myself.
I remember that. Anyway, so the live shows were great. The live in-person shows. So live shows, I mean, like this is kind of fun. Actually, I kind of feel like we should do this. We should do this again. Let us know if. Hey, Xenia, I missed the battle so much. Xenia, I know.
Xenia, you killed it, man.
Xenia, if you
food fight.
Yes.
With the cookies fighting each other?
Xenia, I will just say, if I am able to get this Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles reanimated thing together, you have to do one.
Yeah.
You have to do one. And all my like favorite people who I will be reaching out to certain people who have been in the battles and be like, please be a part of this, because that'll be a really fun thing. The live shows, the live in-person shows, podcast-imations, that was really fun. Yeah. Doing the ones at the table, and then the drunkest shit I ever saw.
Oh,
like, that's a classic one. We haven't really talked very much about editing, but I've uploaded a couple pictures to Patreon. The editing is pretty substantial. Mm-hmm. It's not that we don't have a good flow. I feel like we have a fine flow, and we might not actually edit this podcast. I might just upload it as it is.
Yeah.
Depends how it plays. But production.
Yes.
This microphone.
Yes.
Has been the microphone that I have used for 10 years.
Wow.
This microphone exactly.
I've had numerous.
This one right here. This one has been the microphone that he has used since 2016 because of how we have been recording. When you have come over, this is the microphone that you use. It is a Radio Shack unidirectional microphone. It is a simple unidirectional microphone. Nothing fancy. I got some stands to go with it. Also, nothing fancy. It makes a lot of noise when you readjust it. So, okay, I did it already. You don't need to do it. But I do have a Zoom. I have a Zoom recorder, which is where I record all our stuff now. Originally, we recorded on Audacity. Remember when we did that? And then through remote, we all recorded locally. Yeah. We hit record, and then we went 3. Yes, listen. It's the bourbon. It's the bourbon hiccups. We did the 3, 2, 1, go. 3, 2, 1, go. 3, 2, 1, go. And it's great because what I hear is 3, 2, 1, go. I was pointing you to say go. 3, 2, 1, go. No. What? You delayed. 3, 2, 1, go. No. What? I'll point to you when you say. This is what I hear. 3, 2, 1, go. Go. That's what I hear when you record. So anyway, we use that to match up all the audio, and we're not recording in person, but now that we're in the same place, we're in Brooklyn. We're both in Brooklyn. You're up here at my place now, and you're recording, and that's all good. We already talked about rejected ideas. Is there any other thing that we should talk about? 10 years.
10 long years.
Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go pee.
Yes.
You're going to think. You're going to vamp. I'm going to give you all the gift of Rob trying to fill the space of 60 seconds.
All right. You got to see Steven trying to crawl out of the couch. All right. So, yeah, I think I'm going to say 10 years. I would say that this was, and I'll tell him this when he comes back too. This was a great opportunity for someone like me who I think a lot of times I had a lot of, my dream was if animation doesn't work out, I was going to do like comedy, doing stand up and stuff like that. And a lot of times where people are kind of interested in the stuff I do is usually animation. And Steven kind of gave me the opportunity to kind of highlight myself as opposed to like my work. So yeah, it was a really fun kind of thing to be part of, to be able to kind of like to do something where it's not a oh my god, hold on, I'm gonna take another sip before I continue talking. It was a lot of fun to just kind of to get humor out of when you're an animator, especially if you're doing like comedic animations. It just takes a long time to get some kind of reaction, and to be able to be like a live performer, I guess you could say, is fun to just get a kind of instant reaction from people. I was talking about how maybe you can help with this.
This is my favorite thing in the world is going to the bathroom and hearing.
I was just explaining to my kids where babies come from. So I was saying how a lot of times people who contact me, there is always, I think with animators, there's always like this dream of just being a performer in general.
Yeah.
And I think you gave me this opportunity of like, because a lot of times, you make friends and they kind of just want your skill if they have a project for something. There's a lot of times where, I'm thinking of doing a movie and I want you to do some animation for it. And you can be like, I like to perform. Is what I'm saying. And I think you saying like, I have this podcast and stuff, and it's not just only us just kind of reviewing stuff. You gave me like an opportunity to be able to kind of like, be a performer and stuff in a way, where I get to.
You
like,
didn't stand up before.
Yeah, but that was just stuff that I wanted to do just out of like, because it was terrifying and I just wanted to do it. But there, you gave me like the opportunity to kind of just to just talk and make people laugh and stuff, to just being me. Not, I would say when you're an animator, and especially if you're doing like comedic animations and stuff, it takes months to get that joke out. And
now you do the travel log things.
yeah. I mean, they're not so great. I mean,
I love the travel logs though.
Yeah,
those are like my favorite things that you do.
But like, yeah, it's just fun to be able to like kind of do stuff like that. Every time something like, it makes me feel better when embarrassing things happen, because then I can go on the show and like, oh my god, this is great to like tell this embarrassing story. Like you ripped a giant shark attack. It feels worth it.
You got a place to put it. Yeah.
When there's an audience to hear your embarrassment, it feels like, okay, good. You look at the Impractical Jokers.
No, not Impractical Jokers. I mean, I'm glad you feel that way, but I feel like you would have found an out. Somewhere. You would have found
it's always been a fun
vessel
and stuff. Yeah. But yeah,
I'm glad that you found it here.
And I know I'm not a like broadcaster perfect person, and I think that's what's always the perfect formula with this, where you're good at like
Robin Steven in the morning.
Yes,
we just had that
structure and stuff. And one of my favorite things is surprising you. I love like setting up stuff like the morning thing and stuff, and you just kind of like, oh look, and then you kind of getting surprised by it.
Or the Fiverr thing you're talking about?
Yeah, stuff like that, or just kind of like a joke that I have is one of my favorite things to get your live reaction on stuff like that. There are times where I sit on a joke for maybe months, especially during that 2020s when we weren't recording. There were so many moments.
2021.
Oh, 2021, where there were so many moments where I was just like, oh man, I gotta wait. I gotta wait to. Oh, but the worst is when it doesn't work.
Can you think of one?
One that didn't work?
Yeah.
Not at the top of my head, no.
Yeah.
But there's stuff that I've been saving, like, I'm going to tell this joke and it's going to kill. Oh, one is Writer Strike. I said Beastie Boys lyrics. I thought this was gold. You got to fight for your right to write. And you're like, okay.
That sounds. The thing is.
No, saying it again.
The thing is that is like the most pedestrian Beastie Boys song. Like if you had done something from Eggman or something, like I would get it. Like just anything off of Paul's Boutique, it would have been.
Yeah.
Cheers. I don't know how to take that.
But yeah.
I mean, I'm glad that you like doing the podcast, and I guess it's a nice thing to end the 10-year retrospective on, that we like it. It is really nice doing the podcast. I think one of the things I really like is I feel like education is something that is kind of big for me. So I like doing the information episodes. I like talking about, things that I've seen or experienced or whatever. I feel like I have a unique trajectory in my career that I can share a unique perspective on things animation-wise. And one of the things that I like about you being on the show for a lot of the stories that we're talking about is that you come at it from a similar but different perspective. Similar being that, we're very similar in a lot of ways, but the way that we got to be the same is different. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
Like our background to get to where we're very similar is different, and so you're able to put a different bent on things. I didn't go to school for art, for animation. Neither did you. I did freelance animation. You did independent animation, and you started doing freelance stuff. And then you went into the, now you're in the corporate world. Now you're in the Late Show, and I'm doing kind of episodic, directorial work. And if I'm not doing directorial work, I'm doing animation work. But we've kind of ebbed and flowed in a very similar place in our career. And so I like your perspective on things because where we ended up is very similar, but where we started was different. And so I might think the trajectory of something is important, and you might think like, it's not that big deal.
We just
had that with AI.
Tend to look with the like that we're very much like an odd couple kind of thing, but like there is a method to the madness. I think
it's because of the 1 and 0.
Is
it coming back to the 10? We had a whole episode where we talked about duos, famous duos.
Mm-hmm. I think one of our anniversary shows, I just put a bunch of like comedic duels.
Well, look, we're almost at 3 hours now of record. Oh my God, recorded the podcast. I think we're pretty good.
I think we covered all grounds. I do want to talk about the live shows again. I think, those were a lot of fun. Favorite moments is me thinking I'm following you and filming the audience.
Yeah.
But meanwhile, I'm recording my face the whole time. Those were a lot of fun.
I have episode 213, My Little Pony review with Brian, Pilar, and Andrew. Mm-hmm. 233, Teen Titans Go to the Movie with Andrew and Emmett. We have the 190, Brittany Pickle Spears, and 197, Aubergine Hunger Force. That was the Tooligans episode. Mm-hmm. I really liked those podcastimations. I just think they just didn't catch on. They just weren't a thing that people really cared about,
Yeah.
I really like those though.
There's something with them that we can work with. I think.
So I have a new character animator rig. I've told you about this before. Mm-hmm. That I am ready to
unleash to the world.
I feel like if I'm going to put my energy toward an animation, it would be unique and not podcastimation, because I feel like that was part of the problem, is that the podcastimation was overlapping with the podcast.
Yeah.
And traditional intelligence would say that this would bolster the base of the podcast audience. I don't think it did. I think that it was kind of an extra thing. It was like, oh, that's neat. But that was it. I don't think the podcastimations actually did anything to bolster that. So I think that using the podcastimation idea with new stories that are not on the podcast, I think would be interesting.
Yeah.
Want some makers?
Of course.
I poured myself some makers already. There you go. Oh, and I'll pour myself
Thank you.
just to finish out the makers. So we finished.
Oh my God, the reality of just how our
Here we go.
Little-
Let's just put it down here.
Oh yeah.
Okay. We finished
We'll take a picture of that.
Wathans, Standard Wormwood Rye, and a Maker's Mark. There we go. I'll turn it to the chat. Let's see here. Let's click the. I would just say that you. Okay. I don't know what to say. Okay. I would just say that you guys have been a big part of my experience in being in animation. I'm very proud of the battle animation and the little pandemic segment that I made for you back in the Back to the Future skit. So thank you for guys for doing this. It has value. Well, that's great. It is important work, and I still wish you all the best. Love you guys. That was Lamont. Thank you so much. I mean, I miss doing these. I miss doing the live shows. I feel like I want to do more of these kind of things. Something that is just like a regular episode. We could do a special episode.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of want to do one that's just like outside. We should do one outside.
Oh yeah.
You know.
Do some people watching while they're
Yeah. Xenia says should have taken a screenshot of Steven's microphone mustache. I don't know what that means, but
That's the name of this episode.
microphone mustache. Cheers.
Cheers.
Well, cheers everyone to 10 years.
Now the big question is,
Oh yes.
I have those things there, those popping things.
Oh, okay. Hold on.
As a tradition,
Where are they?
we try to go out with some kind of bang. I think it might be on that table there. It's in a Ziploc bag. I think right over there by the cups. Or is it there? Steven's roaming the house. On the table there, over there? I think I see it right over there.
Where?
Do you see those plastic cups over there? Are those plastic cups?
Oh yes.
Ah, there we go. All right. Whoa! Steven tried to jump on the couch and he fumbled. I'm no sports commentator. Oh my God, we're a mess. We are.
No. I have a chase, and it like kind of goes the long way, and I miscalculated the length. Okay, here you go.
All right.
Okay, this is gonna be okay. Try to aim it that way.
Towards the screen.
Shut up, Lamont. Okay, what we pull here?
I think so. I don't know.
Wait, hold on. Does it have directions? All right, ready? Okay.
3,
2, 1.
3, 2, 1.
Yay!
All right.
Okay, let's do one more.
Oh my God! It smells like the 4th of July.
Let's do one more. Okay, ready? To the last 10 years and 10 years more.
Yes.
Cheers. Boop. Yay! Rob, you're gonna clean that up, right?
Yes. Look at the time again.
Okay. Thanks everyone for joining us. Honestly, it's been a pleasure doing this podcast for the last 10 years, and we don't intend to stop.
No.
This has been a fun time getting drunk with you live on a show.
Love you, buddy. 10
Love you
years.
too.
Love you guys. And I'm not just saying that because I'm drunk. I love Lamp.
I love Lamp. Xenia, our little people. I have this, by the way, sitting next to my work computer, So every day that I work, it's this. See the arm? I have this. We're sitting next to each other with our arms around each other like that.
So you're whispering.
Every day at work. It's wonderful. And I don't know if anyone remembers this guy from the live show. But
Yeah.
this was our puppet when we did the beginning of the battles, right?
Yeah, it was how we.
The beginning of the battles. You know, we did the whole animation thing, and if you go and
My puppet's completely
video,
destroyed.
you can see us making the puppets. It's a great time.
The Rubber Onion Battle mug.
Yes.
That is, the handle is broken off, but
The Rubber Onion Battle mug is the only thing that you can only get the Rubber Onion Battle mug if you won the Rubber Onion Battle.
yeah.
So I do plan on bringing the Rubber Onion Battle back, but it's gonna start, I think, with TMNT Reanimated.
Yeah.
We'll do that, and then we'll kind of bring back the Rubber Onion Battle. So 2024, my thought is, okay, we've gone through the pandemic, we've gone through the worst of it, we've gone through all the stuff, and now we're gonna get back to what we really like doing, which is just talking, doing the podcast, doing some shows, having some fun, interviewing some people if we can.
Yeah.
And I think the TMNT Reanimated is going to be really fun. And my hope is that if we finish that one within the year, then in 2025, we can start the battle. And I have a different idea for the battle, because I feel like if we're going to do a battle, it might
really
be
battle.
It might be really interesting to be able to put something together that would be legitimate to send to film festivals.
Mhm.
So like anyone who participates in the battle would be able to get something in a film festival,
Oh yeah, that'd be
right?
pretty sweet. Yeah.
I feel like I've got some connections. I might be able to swing it one way or the other. So that's the idea. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Happy 10 years. Thank you for joining us for 295 episodes. And that'll do it for this episode of the Robert and Anime Podcast. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Rob, why don't you tell them how you can follow you on the internet? I'm three empty bottles in.
At Rob UFO, and that's it. YULFO. I know it's difficult to, whatever.
Only when you say it.
Yeah. UFO. Stephen Brooks, how about you?
I'm Rubber Onion everywhere, and you can follow me at Rubber Onion on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Tumblr, Google Plus, Newgrounds, and Twitter, Instagram. I don't remember what I was saying.
Especially Tumblr.
I'm a little
Tumblr.
I'm a little drunk. Google Plus doesn't even exist. At Rubber Onion.
Google Plus and
At Rubber Onion everywhere.
MySpace.com.
At Rubber Onion everywhere. Thank you, everyone. Have a great night. Goodbye.
See ya.